Yeah, and there it is in all its glory, the beautiful Japanese peninsula or island, not peninsula, it's an island really. And over here we are now really on the most eastern side of the world here, and we have to do a lot of things to get this nation back on track to the modern age. Japan is really poor right now, and it is also reigned by the Shogunate, a very conservative and strict caste that is, doubting everything that modernization will bring with them, and we need to overthrow them. We also need to literate our population. We need to educate them for the modernity, and we also have a very, very special mission here right now, and that's the Terracoya system. And the Tokugawa period has been marked by programs to assist with the education of the shogunate's population. Despite lacking an official state-run school system, the decentralized and private Terracoya or temple schools provide practical education to commoners across the country. And we have to go with a full mission here. Japanese investment level for education greater or equal than 3. That is our main mission that we have right now. I just love how every nation in this game has a great theme, a great mission that it goes, like the US has the whole colonization of the West, right? And for us, we need to breach modernity with education systems and basically also overthrowing the shogunate. So how can we do this? Well, we can have a look at the population of Japan right now at the beginning of the game, and what we can see right away is that most of the population is the lower strata, so that's 30 million people. And if you look a bit more closely, we can then also see that the aristocrats are the most powerful faction that we have here, and with them the shogunate. And we want to break this. We want to break the shogunate, and we want to break the samurai. And the only thing we can do this really long-term wise is by lowering the group of aristocrats, getting in more capitalists, and also getting more industrialized people, that is workmen and laborers instead of peasants. For interest groups, we can see there they are, the shogunate themselves. They're a clout of 46.5%, and they're by far the strongest interest group that we have right now. They also have Takashika Mori here, who is the leader. And he's got one thing about him, this leader, and that is that he's a strong endorser of the professional army. And this is actually one of the first laws that I would like to pursue here. The chance for this is really high because the samurai endorsed this one, and also the shogunate. We don't have a professional army yet, and it's a very important step to maintain our power with an army that is trained, that is not very likely to lose morale so quickly, and that also gains a lot of experience points. So this is actually one of the first actions that I'm doing. I'm starting the process of enacting this new law. So just for your information, if you're completely new to Victoria 3, your whole economy, your whole nation is basically, of course, divided into laws that we can rule here. Right now, we have the peasant levies. So right now, most of my soldiers are coming from the peasantry. That is very weak, has low morale, and is, basically not very good. It also gives the landowners, that's the shogunate, a very strong political strength, and we want to break this as well. With the professional army, the samurai get a bit more political strength. That's also not super ideal, but it is a first step to break the shogunate's power, which is the strongest power right now in my country. Next up, I would like to bolster an interest group that long-term wise is going to be my most important friend, and that's the industrialists. It's very small right now. 1.1% of my whole political power is industrialist, and this is they're considered marginalized because of that, and we want to make them stronger. They're also getting automatically a bit stronger the more industry we'll have, but of course I can still try and bolster them, right? So we have the option here with a bit of my authority. We can use this to start bolstering them. Speaking about authority, that is one of my currencies, kind of like that we have. Up here we can see this: bureaucracy, authority, influence, convoys, and money. All of them are important, with of course money probably being one of the most important ones, but also my authority, because with that we can do some certain actions that I would like to do. Let's use influence first, because with influence I would like to have a greater look at the world map. And before we unpause the game, I would like to start some diplomatic relationships with the Great Qing. So that's my biggest neighbor by far, and it's also going to be a very strong opponent. And I would like to begin relationships with them. And this will cost me some of my influence, 200 of that it is. I would also, with world power number 1, Great Britain, start beginning improving my relationships so that we are always on good terms, and even perhaps get some protections at some point from them. This might be very beneficial for us. That's already costing me 400 influence, so we can still use some more. The other great power here is Russia that we have up there. And with Russia, it's a bit of a tricky beast because Russia also has claim on my territory, right? So we do have some territory still that we want to colonize, and they have a direct claim on that land here too. So improving my relationship with them, well, prolongs war a bit further into the distance there. So I definitely don't want to have a war with them early on. So that's at least some way of using my influence. Another thing we should do, besides just marveling at the beauty or a detailed map that we see here with all the different beautiful cities of Japan, is technology. So we don't have any active research right now. And as Japan, we are really far behind. So we are really just up there on the tech tree. And we don't really start somewhere here in the middle like other nations, right? We are really starting all the way up here. We do have some academia already research, so with that we could go for universities. In the production tab we do have manufacturers, so we can actually build some factories, that's great stuff, and we can build some farms. But beyond that, it's getting a bit tricky. So one of the first things that I would like to research, it's smaller research for now, it doesn't take very long, is for example empiricism that we could go with. I could also go down here in the atmospheric engine, but that takes twice as much time, or the cotton gin. Now I'm going with the cotton gin for this one here for starters. This is actually an agricultural tech, but it boosts my agricultural output without building more plantations. I don't want to build more plantations because plantations directly contribute to my aristocratic faction, which is once again the Shogunate. So I don't want to boost them further, right? The more plantations we have, the more power they have. And that means I don't want to build plantations. I want to reduce their strength, and I can do this by outputting more without building more plantations. At least that is my logic here. That is actually one of the very important ones. And then it's also the atmospheric engine that we can queue in here already. And with that, we can then boost the output of mines down the road. This is going to be my most important step. Now, before we go into the economy and the real interesting thing, I would like to do two more things, and that is the first one, taxes. And in taxes, we can do a couple of things now to really boost our income there. We don't have a very strong economy. We're only ranked 14 right now, prestige level wise, and economy wise, we're actually 8. That is not so bad, but well, historically speaking, it's really weak right now, and that means we will not get that much out of taxes. Still, we can do this to boost our taxes as twice as high, right? So I'm going with the highest taxes right now. This will reduce my legitimacy. It will also increase radicals, but once again, of course, the attraction of interest groups and governments is also reduced, and that's the Shogunate once more. So not only do I get more money in, but I'm also reducing the strength of the Shogunate because people don't like them because they're the government right now, and they're increasing the taxes. Another thing is consumption taxes that I would like to introduce. We got some 1000 authority right now. Some of them we can use like services right away. They don't really have a downside to them. So for 200 authority, I can get the services taxed, and this will bring me another 4000 in right now. This of course grows with our economy. And then perhaps a second tax for now that we could go with, for example, on liquor, right? So those two don't cost me that much, but bring me in quite a bit of money, almost 8,000. In addition, I would like to increase the government wages to the highest level because this gives me some authority again. And authority we want to use for some new edicts that I'm going to sign soon. And with the military, I'm actually going to lower the taxes a tiny bit. This now leaves me with 40,000 surplus, and we have a gold reserve of 1.2 million. Doesn't sound so bad, but it's going to be gone soon. Don't worry. Alright, finally for economy. Now that's the real tricky beast. Sorry, number 2 was actually reducing the strength of my infantry. We have a lot of infantry right now that is pretty weak anyway, and we will not survive any invasion or something like that. So I'm just going to reduce this to further increase my tax income. Alright, so I'm going to probably put it down to 30 there right now, and that's fine for me. Phew, now we can finally move on to economy, and that's the real deal, of course, that we want to pursue right now before I unpause the game. First of all, before we go really into building more buildings, we need to start building the buildings that will build the buildings, and that is the construction sector, of course. The construction sector right now is very, very small. If I would start to build something now, really, it would take a long time. So my first action here is to increase the size of my construction sector. So we can see that we have in Chubu and in Kansai, that is kind of like my main province right now, we already have some industry or some construction sectors. So what I'm starting here right now is I'm going to boost them right away. So I'm going to double their output there. The other one is Kanto right over here, that I would also like to get a construction sector up. And then also here in Shogoku and also up here in Tohoku. And with that, we are kind of like spreading the construction sectors throughout the country. And with that also then the resources they need to get something done. Let's just actually be fine with that for now. That's now, yeah, some 6 construction sectors that we're building up. Now I can finally unpause the game. Phew, nothing here that we need to worry about for the moment. At least now the game is running. And as we can see, things are happening right away. As we are starting January 6th, it is 1836. And with that, all the actions that we've taken so far, get into action. So they're going to work now. Also, the enactment of my law here, the professional army, starting with the introduction phase. So in this case here, this is now being introduced to the other political factions, and we just need to wait it out. The chance of success is rather high on this. Also, the improving of relationships with the different superpowers is now beginning to work for us. So it's in the background as well. We can also see my population is going to change a bit now. So we're at 31 million that we started with, and we're now at 31,003. So we are growing there a tiny bit at least, with a very high unemployment rate of 100,000 that we want to tackle as well somehow. Yeah, one of the new additions is the night mode. So day and night cycle is activated. That's one of the DLCs. I think it's adding a nice flavor to the game as well. Shortly after unpausing, we do get another development here, the whaling industry. Whale oil is our past and will be our future. Soap, fuel for oil lamps, even the important lubrication of our machines. This polyvalent substance covers all of these needs. And if we want to trigger the event A Dangerous Business, which will lead to other events then, we need to fulfill those requirements. That is, any Japanese building has a whaling station and actually makes money out of that. So has a cash reserve greater than 25%. And any of the Japanese characters has the admiral role and is not busy. So we do need to have an idle admiral, and we do need to have a whaling station that is profitable. Now, do we already have a whaling station? Yeah, we do. We do have it in Kanto over here. That's 2 of them. And the cash reserve is greater than 25,000. So the requirement here would be actually fulfilled. Now we just need to make sure that it's greater than level 3. So this is also something we can do. This is actually already happening thanks to the private business. Oh, and also here my law has passed the introduction phase, is now in the consideration phase. And let's increase the level of the whaling station so that it will reach number 3. Another thing I would like to do, and that's now using my authority in the beginning stage, is for my most important countries that we have, or counties that we have, provinces, we want to start now enacting the social mobility. With this one here, we're increasing the education access by 25%, and we're also increasing the qualification access by 25%. Qualification basically means that pops living in these counties will more likely switch to another profession if it's required. Right, so without it, it would take just way longer. And we're definitely going ahead with Kyoto, that gets it right away. So Kansai, my capital state, where a lot of people are living. So that's 8 million out of my 30 million that are living just here. Right, I'm also going to do it for Chubu. That's another social mobility. That's another 100 authority. We basically could use it probably for all of my provinces, right? Edo also gets it. That's Kanto, right over there, with another 5 million that live in here. And then also down here, Shogoku with 3 million. But it's not important here because of population, but because of its natural resources. And that's the logging camps that I definitely want to tackle here, right? And that is actually laborers you need here. And we do have a lot of farmers here still. So in that case, we want to encourage people to then move over to these new types of industries. And we can do this with the social mobility. Yeah, law progressed to adoption, so the consideration was successful. We are already in the last phase of it, the adoption. No setbacks yet. A maximum of 3 setbacks would be allowed, and we have a chance of 58% still. So actually, yeah, this has a very high chance of getting enacted soon. I would also like to then, of course, move slowly but steadily towards the public schools. We have a few steps in the way of that. Public schools in the way here would be then also the empiricism that we need for it, because only with that we can then enact it. So I'm also going to put this one in my queue here of tech that we want to go with. And that's in the society tree right over here, where we're also just at the beginning, really. Yeah, and while we wait for these things to progress, I just also love to have a look at the map itself. The game is very detailed, and what you see here is actually real buildings that we have, right? So if we build something new, we would also then see it on the map. That's pretty cool, and we're going to see this soon, especially also then when we build some wonders and landmark buildings. And as we can see here also, there is quite a lot of construction going on, so it means that we're building something here. The whaling stations are actually being improved, and then also the construction sector. Now, speaking about construction sector, we have already finished some projects here. So from the 6 we are down to only those 2 left. And with that, we also have increased our construction capacity to 19 now. And with that, I think it might be time soon now to start also constructing actual things. Now, construction industry actually does require something. We're not constructing anything out of thin air. So we are consuming a lot of fabric and a lot of wood right now. And that's my go-to here. Let's have a look at the market. Because in the market, we can see the balance of our goods that we have. And yeah, as expected, wood is actually on the lowest balance right now with a huge deficit. That also leads to an increase in price by 27%. And that's not good. That's also not good for us, because we need to import that and we need to purchase it for that price, which, yeah, lowers my income there quite significantly. So what we want to do is we want to flood the market a bit with wood. And we do need a country or a province that has a lot of wood. And Shogoku here is one of them. It has up to 20 slots available for logging camps. It already is at level 6, so it should be rather easy to push this one. And yeah, let's push it. Let's actually push it by quite a bit. Double the output of that. And as we can see, they're making quite a bit of profit there with it. They're also fully employed, which is a great thing. And with the new logging camps, we're going to need more workers, which in return, the social mobility that we have enacted here will work rather quickly, because people are more likely to switch to the laborers then. And that's then our force that we have here, more or less, right? That are growing now. All right, there's actually an event happening. And discord within the intelligentsia. An influential faction within the intelligentsia has grown frustrated with their co-members' neutrality on the topic of professional army. Themselves in favor of the law, they have now resolved to form a separate political faction intent on passing it. With their support, this shall actually pass. So we get another 15% enactment chance. The intelligentsia gets a member flight. And that means they lose a group pop attraction. That's not good. We actually want to keep them a bit. We could also say the samurai extend an open hand. Oh, this would actually be even worse. That's a negative 15%. And the samurai would grow. So let's actually go with the support. The bill shall pass. We get another 15%. So the intelligentsia lose anyway. We can't change that. We get the message here that wood is actually pretty expensive right now, and that we're stockpiling too much gold, right? So what I can do here is I could actually switch to the iron frame buildings. This will be very bad for my money right now, but we do have a lot of money, and I would like to use this. We can bolster or speed up our construction sector with that to 38, but we're consuming a lot of iron now, and that's in return is expensive, iron and tools, but we can afford it. So let's actually keep it there. And you know what? Let's actually also bolster the construction sector further by building another construction sector in each of the provinces where we already started with that. This is going to be expensive. And the next event comes right after. Popular playwright endorses reform. In the midst of the debate surrounding the professional army, one of the country's leading playwrights, strongly associated with the samurai, has staged a widely acclaimed play whose politically laden theme makes no secret of the author's desire for the law to be passed. Will be on everybody's lips. Another, flat out 10% chance. We could also bolster the samurais. And we could also let ensure the play gets wider international audience, and we get some 20 prestige with that. And this is not bad at all, right? Because our prestige goes directly with our rank, and we already have a 70% chance of success. So we don't really need to have another 10% chance here. I'd rather go with prestige. That's more valuable to me. With more construction sectors finished, yeah, we are going down here on the balance a bit. That's great. I want to actually get negative here soon, so we can use our gold reserves. And we're also building now the logging camps in Shogoku. And as we can see, their level is increasing. And their productivity and their output. Alright, another 15% chance. So we're at 85% chance now for the law. Now, in order to get more wood out of this, we could change the work mode, the production method here to sawmills instead of the simple forestry. This would consume more tools, but would produce more wood. Sounds good, but tools is very expensive. So with that, we might actually make this industry negative. We can try it out. No, even then, it looks like we are profitable. Interesting, because the deficit for wood is so high. Even then, we're making profit, even though we have to consume very expensive tools. Not a big deal to me, so we can actually keep it like that. What we can also do is in Shogoku right away, is since we're producing a lot of wood here, it might also make sense to process some of that into tools. And for that we have the tooling workshop down here, and this consumes wood to make tools out of it. It is further increasing the employment rate of laborers and shopkeepers in the area and increases urbanization. Let's go ahead and yeah, go a level 3 tooling workshop right away. And there it is. We now have a professional army. Enacting the law was successful. And we do get now a number of bonuses here, right? So first of all, the Shogunate is actually losing strength. The samurai gets bolstered a bit, but that's okay for me. And we can also now mobilize additional 73 battalions for our army. They gain more experience points, lesser morale, losses, and a higher conscription rate. I'm happy. Everybody's happy except... well, except the Shogunate, who is now losing a bit of strength here, down to 42.9%. Ah, the colonization of Hokkaido has completed and the former colony is now proper state. That actually happened a bit passively up here in the north. There we have it now, and this is now incorporated into the Japanese Shogunate. And this is going to play a vital role to our economy, because in Hokkaido, we have a lot of coal mines available, and we are going to need coal. Holy cow. Problem is right now, there's basically no one living in Hokkaido, right? It's 60,000 people. It is growing, of course, but that's it. Another thing I would like to do is, since we do still have some authority in Shogoku, where my main wood output is right now, I would like to bolster now also the resource industry, so we can encourage that by 100 in authority. We can push the throughput of the logging industry by 20%, which of course is super nice. Yeah, and also with increasing the level of the logging camps in this area, what we can also see is now we're lacking a bit of a workforce here, right? So it's struggling to keep up with demand, the population, and that means we don't have enough workers right now to actually be profitable for this industry. And in that case, we need to wait it. They should come in naturally, since we do also have the social mobility active. It shouldn't take that long. We're still building though construction. Yeah, we're still building one more logging camp. And after that, it can stabilize a bit. We could further... let's check it out real quick. Wood is not looking so bad right now. It's not expensive per se. We could change the production method of this again back to normal simple forestry. This would reduce the wood output, increase its price, and also bolster its industry. Even though it would come at our cost, most likely. But actually, I think I'm going to wait it out just a tiny bit. We're also now building tool workshops then, and then it should actually even out again. Alright, one more thing, the whaling industry. We have checked now the whaling station that is level 3 and has a cash reserve greater than 25%. And now we only need an idle admiral. I think we don't have an admiral right now. Do we have one? We don't. We don't have a fleet at all. So I can create a new fleet. Oh, and just on time, we've also finished the first research here, the cotton gin. And with that, my cotton plantations have a higher throughput passively. So I don't need to do anything else here. So there is now my Japanese first fleet. It doesn't consist of any ships so far. We can, however, now select an admiral. We do have the option of these 3 here. Once again, very important who we choose. The Shogunate, for example, definitely not, because that would make them stronger again if they have an admiral in their crowd. We could take an intelligentsia. This would actually boost them quite a bit. Or we could take a samurai. He's honorable here. 50% attraction of the interest group in the government. And this is actually inactive because he's not a leader. And the engineer is also inactive because he's no ruler. Then we would get a 5 construction bonus on top of it. Also not so bad. This would actually be active right away. He's reckless, so that's not good. And convoy raider, submarine offense, convoy raiding efficiency. These are things that are also not that great to me. So let's actually go with the intelligentsia and recruit this guy. And he's idle right now. With that, we have the whaling industry completed. Perfect. And a new event should start now. And there it is, a dangerous business event in Kanto. The efficiency of our whaling stations in Kanto has proved to have a dangerous counterpart, and death has become common to almost every voyage. It is a high price to pay, but the profit is equally high. And with that, we can give Kanto a whaling boom, so 33% whaling station throughput for the next 5 years. It shines! And we're taking this one here, because profit is really important right now, and growth with that. Very good. So those whaling stations are really profitable right now, and are having a nice throughput of, flesh and oil. Basically everything that we need. We're building some more construction sectors again to further or to speed up construction in general. We are negative now, finally. I say this with good caution, because that means we're investing now our gold into our economy, and I want to invest as much as possible. And and we continue onwards. We've laid some groundworks with our industrialization. So we are still a very agrarian population, right? And I would like to really move towards industrialization. And we're doing this right now with the very first basic things that you can do. More logging camps, tool shops that we have now, and soon then also iron mining, which we're going to need for our new construction method. We're sitting at 41 construction capacity right now. That's not very much right now, so we are barely able to build 2 things at once. I would like to get to this point during this episode, so that we can really speed up construction. Right now we're working on the tool workshops. That's very important, as we are going to need a lot of tools, and they're very expensive right now. That means we need to import them at a very high price. And this once again also lowers my income there quite a bit. Actually, we make a loss, which is fine because we get 3 million in gold reserves right now. And you should not be afraid of using gold reserves at all. It's a nice investment into your economy. Iron frame buildings, that's the one that we are using right now. And this is especially costing me tools and iron. And that is something that is, because of that, very expensive now, right? So we got the iron here, we got the tools here. Now tools is the more expensive thing, and we are going to need tools for quite a lot of things. So that's what I'm building right now, some tooling workshops over here in Jogoku. Now while this is happening for my economy, we also should pass more laws, and one of them is very, very important to us, and that's the colonization law that we have. And right now we have the frontier colonization, so colonization is limited to states connected to the country's border, but we want to do colonial exploitation, the next highest law that we have. And this one actually gives me more throughput out of the unincorporated states, so kind of like a boost to every colony that we have that is not part of our empire yet. And it also gives me a higher colonial growth generation. That means I can faster colonize stuff, and we want to do this. The chance for this is really high because the Shogunate and the petite bourgeoisie are endorsing this. So with that, we have a very high chance of actually enacting this law. So let's go ahead and start the process of this law once more. That's one of the few laws we can actually go for right now. We already were very successful with our first law passing. That's the professional army. That's super important. And now we are actually moving for colonization. Not that many other things here right now that we could enact. So this is going to take a while anyway. Another thing, speaking about colonization, is up here, this very small island, Sakhalin, right? And this is tension-wise. So Sakhalin is really good actually for our mines here once more, right? So we definitely need a lot of iron and coal. So this is where this island is just super nice. And I think later on we actually get oil out of this one too. So this is super important for my economy really. And it's not really part of any empire yet. Not part of the Chinese, not part of Russia, and not part of us. So we can actually have a go at that. And for that, we need to establish a colony over there that we haven't done yet. So let's go ahead and colonize Sakhalin. This is going to take a while, right? It's also isolated. That means right now we have a bit of a problem incorporating this into our market. And this is where the new law comes in then. Because once we have that, we don't need to have a colony directly bordering our empire anymore, right? Which would be the case here. So with that, we can actually, incorporate this much better into our empire than before. So we need the law and we need Sakhalin. That's that. We don't have any other journal entries for the moment. We still have only the Terracoya system here that I'm working on. So for that, we don't need this Japanese investment level for education on level 3. We don't even have that yet because we don't have the tag for this at the moment. Let's actually speed up time there again a bit so we can still work on other things. What's happening on the world there? The Great Britain have declared Ottoman Empire to be their rival. So we better not have anything to do with the Ottoman Empire at the moment. And so far so good. Alright, after a little while, the introduction phase has passed and we're now in the consideration phase for colonial exploitation. 45% chance, it actually went down a bit. We do also have some counter movement here from the Haimin. This is an influential interest group and they're angry right now because I'm doing something they don't want. They want the old ways. And we're actually reforming here right now something. So whenever we reform something, this interest group is not very, good for us. So I could actually suppress them to make them weaker. That would cost me some 200 authority that we can, actually could use at the moment. I think though we don't need that because their cloud is only 7%. So they're really not that strong. Alright, it takes some time, but we are now in the process of finishing our first tooling workshop in Shogoku. We should see, yep, there it is, a nice change to my taxes there right away since we've built it. Because now we are actually lowering the prices of tools then. It is then consuming also some wood. However, we need a lot of workforce here before this is fully operational. And we still have also our social mobility active here. So this one makes sure that we can switch my population from farmers to laborers here quickly. And as the vacancies are going down and the employment rate is going up for this tooling workshop, we produce more and more tools. And this is then also lowering the price of tools in general. Alright, rousing speech. This afternoon, Tarakuni Misuno, leader of the samurai, delivered a fiery speech advocating for the enactment of colonial exploitation. And this should ease the path. Alright, we would get a plus 15 right away. We could also make sure that Tarakuni is getting more popularity. He's part of the samurai and a traditionalist. No, I'm not going with that. So we just go with the enactment chance here of up to 60% with that. Meanwhile, up in the north here, we are continuing our colonization. So we've already made some progress, right? So this is now part of my empire already. The Japanese Sakhalin, very good. We could incorporate it then into my empire as well with some 10 bureaucratic power or bureaucracy. For now, though, I'm just going to leave it be. So another 40 days, we actually continue onwards further north. And what I've seen so far is we are rather early. That's great because Russia hasn't started colonization yet. There might still be then some trouble with Russia coming up here because they also will have an interest on that, but for now it's fine. We are actually in the process of finishing the last tooling workshop that we have, and this means I should work on something else. In Tohoku, we do have a lot of iron mines possible, right? So up to 60. Tohoku has nothing but farms at the moment, so this is a very agrarian population here, but it's 3 million, so that's a lot of people. We don't have the social mobility yet, so I'm going to enact this one too for Tohoku now, and we're going to start with the iron mines. So I'm going to start with, let's make it 6 for now, and that's very important because we do need iron for our construction industry as well, so the price of that is rather high. We don't have a single production of iron at the moment in the whole, I think, of Japan, so we really need to get this started, otherwise we are going to pay a premium price for a long time. And this is now in effect, right? So we can actually build 2 buildings at the same time right now. That's great, right? But it's taking some time. And yep, there it is. The iron mines are starting to appear. I just love this. The details on the map are fantastic as the iron mines are now being incorporated into my land. And there it is. Also, the first iron mines have been finished. And we are now starting to produce iron, but we do consume tools in addition. So tools and iron is now going to be something that we are working on all the time. And For now, the ratio is okay, I say, but we can still improve this then here with the atmospheric engine pump. So this is something that we're working right now on the tech tree. There it is, atmospheric engine. This will be a massive boost to my mining output, and this is something we can finish then though in 3 years. So until then we should have everything ready for it, also some coal mines. Now we have colonial exploitation. It has been finished finally. A new law has been passed, and with that we can now fully use Sakhalin then also for my colony. And that's going to be very important up here. Oh, and another message, gold has been discovered in Hokkaido. That's great. Gold is really valuable, and it gives me a total flat money output as well if we go into minting. That's pretty cool stuff here. And we start with a 3 right away that we already used then. There's no usage though of gold yet at the moment, I think. No mining at the moment, as there's no workforce here. That's for Hokkaido. The problem with Hokkaido is that there is basically no people living over here. It's 60,000 right now in comparison to the 3 million, for example, in Tohoku, or the 6 million in Chubu. So we are having a bit of a trouble here with the population there right now, which still needs to grow a bit. For now, I cannot do anything here, right? So social mobility would not be that helpful to me. And for now, there's nothing else that we can really do in order to increase population quickly. Meanwhile, also up here, another colony is being established. Very good. And we are continuing to climb further up north. And as we can see, every time a little colony has been finished, we are also getting more spots for iron and coal mining then as well. There's some 20,000 people living in here right now, so it's the same with Hokkaido. Basically no workforce existing right now, so this is going to be a bit, of course, a trouble, but discoverable resources this one has, as expected, and there will most certainly be oil, which is then later down the road be very, very powerful for us. What I'm also going to start with Hokkaido right away is coal mining. Now, as I said, we don't have a lot of workforce here, but creating jobs actually leads to more immigration then, or migration, and that means more people will move to Hokkaido then once there are jobs available. Now, Hokkaido is pretty special. It has a lot of coal mines available, and it also has a boost, the Ishikari coal field, and this gives me 10% coal mines building throughput, so another nice boost to my coal output. So let's go ahead and build me some 3 coal mines for now. This is not going to be that valuable early on. The same with the gold mines that we've discovered here. There is basically no workforce for it at the moment. But we're going to work on that and make sure that Hokkaido will be our coal powerhouse pretty soon. How's it looking there? Iron mines are being finished too, then another tool shop, and then the coal mines in Hokkaido. Also very interesting, this is a new mechanic that hasn't existed on release, and that's the private constructions that we have. So we got private companies now too that are constructing their own businesses, and they've seen that there is demand for tools in Tohoku, because we're also building here the iron mines right now, and they consume tools, and they just saw the opportunity of building a tool workshop here. So this is being built now while we actually build on other things completely. This is very nice for us because it saves us time, right? We're building tool workshops without having to use our own capacity for that. So in Tohoku there is quite some dynamic now already with the industry that we have, and also with private sector that's building up at the same time. Alright, another colony has been established. We are getting a lot of mines here. How many people do we have there? Yeah, it's growing though, quickly though. Yep. Alright, very important. Sakhalin uprising up here is happening right now, so the native population doesn't really like to get colonized so quickly. So we do actually need to wage some war against them. And with that we have now a diplomatic play up here, but what I can see is they don't even have soldiers. Medical decree is unlocked, another health system institution investment that we can go with now. This was passively achieved. So we not only have our active research, but also there's passive research happening all the time. In this case, that was the medical decree. Lath here, for example, is also passively being researched here right now. Alright, this uprising is interesting, really. There is no soldiers on the part of the Sakhalin. We're now in the opening phase, which is leading to escalation. I'm going to mobilize my armies now. All of them. It's only 30 really that we have. Right, so it's really not that much, but we can get them over then with this. And we're now going into the war phase, so escalation, countdown to war is happening. My 30 armies have been, mobilized now. This gives me a total maneuver power of 75. They have 30, but they have 0 battalions working for them. And there it is, the war has broken out to arms. And up here we do see now the front line between our colony, right, and the Sakhalin. And they're now hostile towards us. And we're now going to take our battalions that we have and deploy them on the front. This is going to take some time. And once there, we can actually fight them. And there they are. And there the fighting is happening. Against an invisible enemy. That doesn't really exist there. And we're now moving then slowly into the territory there. Is it already over? Nah, not over yet. And there's the first Sakhalinian army. However, there's no soldiers on it. While we win this war, of course, their morale is already crumbling. What we need to worry about is my gold reserves. They are going down now almost completely with a very high negative balance here. So I will need to change my construction here from iron frame to wooden buildings again. This will stabilize my income there, my balance, and we can actually build up some gold reserves again. And from now on, I will need to juggle between the two until the iron frame buildings are profitable for me. So until we have a profitable or positive balance, even with the iron frame buildings active. Though with my construction capacity right now, we're consuming so much iron and so many tools that it's not worth it having it on permanently. Without it, we're dropping to 27 on the construction capacity, which is still fine. So we can still build 2 buildings or 2 constructions at the same time, and this is still helping us out there a bit. We're building the coal mines in Hokkaido now, right now, right? So this is going to take a while, right? So there's no going around that. I'm going to enact social mobility for it, so there is more people actually getting into employment here, but it's going to take a long time before these coal mines actually start to work. I just want to give this basic incentive early on that people actually move there. So the Sakhalin have now capitulated, and we have now the colonization rights of the whole of Sakhalin, and the colonization continues once more. Sorry, pals, but you will have to join me sooner or later now, right? There's some devastation here because of my army that wreaked it, but it's fine. It's going to be repaired. It's going to be a very poor colony early on anyway. And there it is. We continue now into this territory up there. Now, by now, the tool workshop in Tohoku has been finished by the private sector. That doesn't mean anything. We can really still fully control it. That's great stuff. And in this case here, it's interesting what is happening right now, because we have changed our construction method again. The iron mine that we have here right now are not profitable because the price of iron has dropped significantly without us using it, right? So what we can do here is instead the the tooling workshop that we have here in this area already, we can switch its production method to wrought iron tools. With that, it will also consume iron in addition to wood and produce more tools out of it. So this is a nice in-between solution here. I'm going to level it up as well. And with that, we can raise the price of iron again and make this one here profitable again, this business. And that's actually something that we should focus now, that these businesses are profitable while we continue with the expansion of wood, iron and tools. And there it is. The colonization of Sakhalin has been completed, and the former colony is now proper state that we have up here, with some 42,000 people in it, and we can then also incorporate it. This takes 20 years in total, since its homelands have nothing in common with any culture in Japanese shogunate. We can do this. This is costing me just a minor bureaucracy power, and it's going to take quite some time now of doing this. Hokkaido was actually our own culture, so there is no problem really. We could, in addition, get the incorporation now in, and we could then also get the assimilation boost up as well, but for now that's not active because we incorporated first. For Hokkaido, I think we do have it. Yep, promote national values. This actually gives me higher conversion and assimilation rate for any non-Japanese on it. And more gold has been discovered in Hokkaido once more. A gold rush. People from all corners of the earth are converging there, confident that they will discover the next great lode and become incredibly rich. And spread the word. This will actually, and this is what I've been waiting for, it's perfect, Hokkaido gets 125% migration attraction. And this means, yeah, that a lot of people will move to Hokkaido now, so the population will grow rather quickly now. And population means, well, yeah, laborers that we can then use in our coal mines. In addition to that, we have the national, the social mobility up here. So people moving there will then also change faster to their designated profession. All right, what is that? Devout scandal. It has been revealed that Oshoye, half of the Buddhist monks, has been having a secret affair with the member of the clergy. His resignation is being demanded. Who are you again? Japanese Shogunate. I don't think he's very... I mean, he's loved. He's of the Buddhist monks. I don't really care about them, honestly. They have a very strong clout, though, at the moment of 20%. Right. I might actually just not do anything out of it. Japanese Dream. A story has been making the rounds about a miner who struck it rich and became the wealthiest man in his town. People in Hokkaido are beginning to live beyond their means, convinced they'll all become rich soon enough. And this increases the standard of living by 2 in Hokkaido, but it gives me an unrealistic expectation. All that is gold is not glitter. And unrealistic expectations is dismissed. We only get +1 standard of living and a negative 15% on the radicals from standard of living decreases. I think this is the safer bet here because we can't meet the standard of living expectations right now in Hokkaido. So I'm going with a more moderate approach to this. I'm switching back to my full production method here of the iron framed buildings. This once again drops my balance there a bit. It also makes sure that my tooling workshops and my iron mines are profitable again, right? So they're building cash reserve up once more. And yeah, we continue with faster construction now. Tooling workshop, then the logging camps, and then probably some more iron mines again, because this is still something we need. How is it looking there with the employment, by the way? Come on. Fully employed, perfect. So we have the maximum potential there. Let's increase it by another 4 levels. And we're not that negative right now. We were 30k negative last time. Now we're only 7k negative right now. That's of course because we have a higher production now. And yeah, with so many people moving into Hokkaido, finally we also have some employment in the gold fields. So it's yeah, very, very low amount. But there is a bit of money also coming in with that now. This is going to help us out quite a bit. We also have a level 8 gold field here, by the way. So it was 3 first, and now it's 8 thanks to the gold rush that is happening over there. Of course, this is a bit scripted by the game, but it's just a nice boost to my economy as well. And right now, the pop growth is 2% annually, so that's 1.36k in addition. And of course, this is then only multiplying. The more people we have, also then with the birth rating and stuff. Alright. Are we building the mines now? No, the next workshop is being finished. And then some logging camps that we need for the tools production. And then the iron mines again. Oh, and there it is. Also, the atmospheric engine has been unlocked. And with that, we get a new mode for the iron mines, the coal mines, basically any mine that we have. And we can also now have the foundation to railways that we can have then later on. But this is pretty important because with that, we can change the work mode now for the mines. So right now, we were picks and shovels. And with the engineering or with the atmospheric engine pump, we can actually put out way more iron at the cost though of more coal. We don't have coal yet on the market though. So just out of curiosity, I would like to have a look what happens when I activate this. The iron output should be higher. Yep, it's twice as high. Which is leading then to the iron price dropping a bit. But it is in consuming our coal, which we don't have in stock right now. So we don't really feel the change of this at the moment without coal really coming in. And since it's taking longer than expected Hokkaido to get a population up, even with the gold rush, right? And we have the gold mines here now that are a bit more important to me. Let's actually work on a Kyushu down here, the southern island. Here we actually have a high population of 4 million. And here we actually also have lots of coal fields. And we have the coal output as well with the Chihoko coal field that we have here. So that's 10% output as well for the coal mining. Let's go ahead. Why am I waiting on this? Let's do this, and let's also give this one the social mobility as well. And with that, we have consumed all the authority for now. Of course, we can then always cancel it again and get the authority back, but I don't think that we need it for anything else right now. So the coal, it is down here. Iron mines, tooling workshops, then the coal mines, and all of that with 63 construction capacity. We have not the worst balance right now, so I still have 1 million in gold reserves, so we can stay negative for a little while longer. I was focusing on Hokkaido with the coal mines a bit too early. They're still in ruins, more or less. Well, there are some 1,000 laborers in already. That's good. So with the gold rush, we have a lot of people moving in, and the gold rush right now is also helping us quite nicely here with my budget here, right? So we're already getting 1,300k out of that here. That is helping me, and this is only a 7% potential there right now. So we are getting nice on this. With Hokkaido moving more people to this state. However, Kyushu down in the south is much better for early coal mining. We have a huge population, we have a bonus for coal mines, and we have lots of coal mining available. And for that, right now, there it is, the first coal mine has been finished, and holy cow, is that going to be important to use my combustion engine for my mines. Very, very important, my atmospheric engine here, right? The atmospheric engine pump that we can use. Funnily enough, I can also use it for the coal mines themselves to boost the output for this. And we will do this, of course. So right now, as we can see, vacancies are going down rather quickly. Lots of people move in. I wonder why there's shopkeepers that we need for coal mines. From the merchant guild they come, and they used to work in the fishing wharves that we are no longer using them so much. But why do we need shopkeepers in the coal mine? Laborers, that's super important. Every single laborer we get boosts the interest groups of the bourgeoisie, of the trade unions especially as well, and of the industrialists, and it reduces the power cloud of the shogunate. So that's great stuff. However, shopkeepers, they're also for industrialists, right? So they're very strong supporting there. No idea why we would need them there, but I'm fine with it, of course. Yeah, we're building a couple of them right now. So right now we have a pretty huge demand for coal as well, and I need to use this demand, or I need to use my capacity for coal to get the engine pumping for my iron mines. That's super important here. So let's finish those coal mines. With the atmospheric engine, we've also got a new journal entry here. The atmospheric engine, an ingenious device has been invented. It will sure to drastically improve the output of our mines. So with that, we also can trigger a new event, the atmospheric engine itself. And we should not reach the water tube boiler before we finish this, otherwise this will fail. It will also time out in 9 years. So what we need here to do is have at least one of these. So we have this now, perfect. And the second one is more than 75 buildings of eligible buildings have the atmospheric engine active. This is the case when we have all the iron mines and all the coal mines pumping with that. And then we should actually be able to do it just fine. Alright, coal mines coming in. And with that, we can see already also my balance going up again. So I think we will not even need to change my construction sector this time around anymore, as we're looking rather good on the income side. While the coal mines are coming out, we have stopped colonization now, because in Sakhalin, everything here belongs to us now. That's great stuff. And Russia wasn't even once, angry towards us. They're still protective of us, actually. That's great stuff. And we can now move towards the south a bit more, because in the south, there's a few countries or a few islands ripe for the taking, which we should be doing before any of the major superpowers get there. So for that, first of all, we need to declare interest in the region. Indonesia, it would be, right? I would also like to go with Oceania. Oh, sorry, we can only declare one interest for now. Oh yeah, alright, we're rank 11. Only one interest for now, that's fine. And with that, we should be able then to colonize soon, at least here, Papua. That is something I would like to take. For now, it has not been colonized yet, so it is ripe for the taking, but we need to wait now a bit for our interest to kick in. And then we should be able to start colonization here. This one is actually totally available. With a bit of authority that I have again, I would like to start bolstering the intelligentsia now as well. So we are now bolstering intelligentsia and industrialists, the two most important groups in the future to also work towards reforming the country once they're strong enough. Already also a new domestic affair journal entry is coming in. The path to liberalism, a more democratic society with the right ideals will lay the groundwork for a country where the liberty of all citizens is paramount. And we do need to, check a few things here. A few of them we already have. So the government legitimacy, the shogunate is at peace, and all interest groups are in the shogunate are insurrectionary. And also we need to have at least one of these here. So census suffrage or the universal suffrage. And we also need to have at least one of these ideologies in the government as well. Shouldn't be so hard to achieve. Except the suffrage. This is actually something where we're going to take a long time for getting this. That's all the way down here, census suffrage or the universal one. Endorsement is not so bad. Of course, the Shogunate will oppose that dramatically, so we need to kick them out first before we can actually go to this. So there will be a civil war with the Shogunate most likely at some point soon, where we need to kick them out of power for good if we want to go. They're too strong at the moment though. They're at 44% right now. We still need to weaken them further, right? So very important that we kick them down on the population, so the farmers and the aristocrats especially. So this here needs to get weaker overall before we can do anything else here with those guys. Also, for the first time, we are positive on the balance now, even when using the iron frame building. So this is great stuff, as we probably can keep that construction capacity up for a while now. Of course, we still need to check out our resources constantly. The price for iron, for example, is now pretty low again. That's great stuff. So the iron mine building was successful. Let's also check it out there quickly for those here. So we are getting the coal now in, which is also not that pricey, and then the tools, which is also not that pricey. And another iron mine has been built. I think we could now start on building something else for the first time other than, yeah, tools and iron and coal and stuff like that. So coal, we also have a nice surplus there now, right now. These mines were very, very productive quite early on, right? So it was the right move to Kyushu. So another thing I would like to look at after we finish those iron mines is taxation capacity. Right now we're losing a lot of taxes because we don't realize them. And we can see this here, 88,000 or 88k would be potential if we realize all our taxes. This is a huge bunch at this point, right? That we definitely need to tackle somehow. So I need to look up the states where actually I can get the most out of it, and one of them of course is Kansai, our capital state, because this is one of my most populous and one of most richest counties that we have, or provinces that we have. And we were using 800 out of the capacity of 245 that we can use here. So there's 70% tax collection potential wasted right now that we need to use. And how can we do this? Well, we need to build governmental administration buildings. We can do this. This gives me bureaucracy and increases the taxation capacity. Let's start with 3 of them. However, they will start consuming then paper. And paper is something that we need to be careful about, because the price of that can get raised rather quickly. Right now it's still cheap though to use paper, so we can go ahead and do this and increase our taxation capacity. And just finishing one of the government administrations actually already gave me some 5,000 on the balance in addition, because we now have more taxation than coming out of Kansai. For now, price of paper though needs to be monitored, so we're now starting to consume it, and with that the price is already increasing a bit. Tech-wise, we're about to finish the empiricism over here. That gives me more influence and more wealth education access, and also another education institution investment. It also leads to a bunch of new laws that we can then use, like the school system. And on the other hand, we are going for the stock exchange as the Q here. First of all, it's a rather quick tech now with 3 years only, and this gives me a better market access price impact and also more trade route bureaucracy cost. It also leads to the free trade and protectionism law. These are things that we're going to need pretty soon. And there it is. Also, we have finished another journal entry, the atmospheric engine now, with using the pumps as well. And through the widespread introduction of the atmospheric engine in the mining industry, productivity is at an all-time high. And I'm sure we can squeeze a little more out of these machines. We get even more, a 33% throughput for all of my mines. This is just really nice. Or we get a huge progress boost towards the water tube boiler. Nah, let's go ahead with the temporary boost, because that's just more lovely to me and to my market in general. And there it is. Also, empiricism has been finally unlocked. With that we get a few bonuses and then also new laws that we can enact. Also, even though we use now all our construction capacity here, I'm not having any high prices anymore on coal, tools and iron, so that's perfect. And that means, of course, we can increase our construction capacity even further. So in Kyoto, right over here, I would like to increase that sector by another 2 levels, which then increases the consumption of said goods again. Fabric might be something that actually goes up then a bit too steeply. Paper is still fine, so I'm also fine with using even more administration capacity for the taxation. So let's go ahead and use another 2 levels here in Kansai. And what would be another good one? I think with Edo, yes, we have a whole bunch of stuff that we're not using here. So let's also increase the government administration by 2 levels in Edo. Very important right now that we should focus is a dedicated police force, because right now we lose the local police force, and this is giving the Shogunate 10% additional political strength, which is quite a bit. We do have it in the institutions here, there it is, right? And that's level 1 right now, that's great, so we're definitely not going to increase that. However, we need to really get cracking on this law. Problem with the law is, though, that, yeah, we have a higher chance than ever before, so it's at 32% now. Of course, the Shogunate is opposing this directly, but the stronger my intelligentsia especially gets, the better here. So I still need to wait a bit more, I think, but then we should be able to start the enactment process. Samurai petition government, representing his constituents in the samurai, Tarakuni has issued a formal petition to the Japanese government to pass the National Guard law. We will see what we can do. They expect this in the next 5 years. Alright, that was just an expectation now. We could do this, the National Guard. It's a tricky business though. Just have a look at that real quick. There it is, National Guard. Very low chance of actually getting enacted. Right now we have no home affairs. With this one we would have then the chance of getting this. Also gives me a bureaucracy cost, but it enables the home affairs institution. Intelligentsia actually oppose this. Yeah, it could actually work if we endorse this. Now, we built two more construction sectors now. With that, we raised the capacity to 81. Very good. However, we're lowering our income again with that, because of course we consume more goods. Let's just also check this out again. But I think, yeah, look at that. Iron is fine. Tools is now really fine. So there's nothing to worry about that. Wood. So no idea why we actually lose that much money with it. Should not be the case. We should get the money in again though with our government administrations now. Passively mechanical tools has been researched. This is actually pretty good for us, because with that we can boost the output of paper mills and tooling workshops by using steel tools then once we have steel available as well. And also pretty important, the knowledge of railways has started to spread to us. So with that, this new tech is now inspired and will then just passively also continue with its with its endorsement. So urbanize a Japanese shogunate so that we have something new. The future is not white or black like the old tales say. It's grey. The color of the train that lets us visit foreign lands. The color of the factory that lets us pay for such a travel. The color, my friend, of progress. And with that, we get the new one that will then lead to urbanization of Japan. And with that, we still, of course, are far away. Right now, we have 11% progress of the Japanese states that have an urban center greater than 5, and any building is greater than 10 in the urban center then as well. So this is also a long-term goal here that we have. And the government petition for the samurai, we probably will just go for this and try to get this law in. And another political movement has started now, enacting the homesteading. This is really good for us because this is a very extreme movement. So this is actually generating a lot of radicals as well right now. Support is extreme for this one. Radicalization is high as well. The same goes with the poor laws. So these are two movements by the new political powers that we have. That's the industrialists that grow in strength, and that's the intelligentsia that almost at 16% cloud bonus now, or strength now. With the homesteading, this is actually a law that I would like to go. This is abolishing serfdom, and serfdom is giving the shogunate 50% political strength. If we go with this one here, this movement of homesteading, it gives the petite bourgeoisie quite a bit of a power there as well. And on top of that, it will probably start a civil war. So if we want to go with that, and we have to go with that at some point now, we need to work out our military strength there as well. And for that, I need to do a couple of things. I need to build barracks in my capital state, because once we go to civil war, most of the barracks in the country will actually probably side with the shogunate. Every barrack we build in Kyoto, in the Japanese shogunate capital state, will actually be under our control. So the more barracks we have here, the higher the chance that we win this one. So we need to actually get started with that. This will of course have a strain on my national balance there once more, but I think we should be fine. There's 3 more constructions we finish right now, and then let's actually go ahead with the barrack building. The first thing we need to do is actually have a look at our army right now. So we got the first Japanese army with 30 battalions stationed right now. So in that case here, let's have a look at their leaders, because I think some of them are actually of the shogunate. This is petite bourgeoisie. This is shogunate, so General Hidetatsu. And also here, General Yoso is also of the shogunate. So I would like to actually get rid of them and with that, yeah, reduce their power in the army. And by retiring this one here, we lose also then interest group approval of the shogunate, but that's fine. We're going to assign new generals here that are of other powers, right? So Haimin here. Unfortunately, we don't have anyone else here. Shogunate again. Let's recruit the Haimin and get rid of Yosu here as well, right? So there's no one of the shogunate anymore in power at the of the army itself. If I want to recruit a new general, we only get shogunate powered generals now. So those two are very important to me. He's petite bourgeoisie. He's actually really important to me. So I'm going to promote him there right away to get him up there a bit. He's though disliked a bit, but okay, I have to live with that. But I want to increase their power there of my army further, without too much of a hassle there, and we do have enough bureaucratic power, so we can go ahead and do this. Next, I'm going to build some more barracks now in our capital, which would be Kansai. There it is. And here we can now go ahead and, yeah, let's get us a level 5 barracks up there immediately. Sorry, first we need to reduce all the barracks in the provinces. So we do this with the new system. It's a bit more complicated, I think, than before. We're not directing barracks anymore directly, but rather we need to reduce it to 0, because this is one-to-one with a barrack, right? So first of all, I need to reduce the battalions to 0, because now we don't have any barracks anymore anywhere. And now I can go ahead and select recruit a new infantry, and now I can actually go from the 0 rating for Kansai. So in Kansai, we have now the whole military stations then with, yeah, let's say 20 of them right away. So we don't need to build actually the barracks anymore directly, but we rather just recruit the soldiers, right? Artillery is also something we can go with, and cavalry. So once again, I'm also saying Kansai here. Let's get me a level 10 cavalry up as well. This is going to take a while. And once finished, we have the whole military power of Japan concentrated in the capital. Also with that, the shogunate family ties has been deactivated, because they don't have powerful positions anymore everywhere. So the army, for example, they have nothing anymore. And with that, the Japanese clout, or the shogunate clout, is actually getting reduced by a whopping 10% to 34.5% only now. That is massive. This further improves now the chance of new laws that we can assign here. So since the shogunate is actually directly opposing that, we increase our chance here to 30% now for the homesteading. And way more important to me would also be now the dedicated police force, where we for the first time have a positive endorsement. If I go ahead with this, it will radicalize anyone. No, it will still not radicalize the shogunate. It will, however, further reduce the political strength by another 10%. So let's go ahead and start the enactment process, I think, of the dedicated police force. Yeah. This is going to be risky, because honestly, we have a very low chance here. Or should I go with something else? Yeah, unfortunately, here we cannot really go for anything. Tricky. Sorry, let's actually... No, let's go ahead with it for now. Homesteading is still too early, I think. It's a tricky decision right now, honestly. Also, line infantry has been unlocked passively. That's great, because this is a very important new military unit type that we have that gives me a nice increase in military power. Alright, the first phase was successful for dedicated police force. The enactment chance has been increased by 10%. We're now at 15%. Endorsement rating is still higher than the opposing rating, so it's risky, but it might just work out. If it does, we get a huge boost towards dethroning the shogunate further. And that's something I would like to aim for here soon. Yep, nothing else that we can do here for now in the journal. Low market access in Hokkaido, that's of course to be expected. Tohoku though, that's not so great, so I might actually enact here the road maintenance. Honestly, we could do this. I just need a bit more authority. Road maintenance, there it is. With that, we do get some infrastructure back again, and off it goes. Market access is at 100% again for Tohoku. Oh, and this is also just perfect. Mass communication has been unlocked. The easy spread of information utilizing technologies such as the newspaper. And with that, we get 10% flat authority as well. And this is actually almost a new edict that we can enact. Actually, it is a new one. The 100 authority flat. We could go for something now again that boosts me. So for example, in my capital, we could go for a higher road maintenance there once again. I would also like to encourage some output, probably. Alright, dedicated police fund has successfully progressed to the consideration phase. That was faster than I expected. I thought it would stay in the introduction phase a little bit longer. So 50% debate now, a 30% stall that we have a stalling here, and the 15% chance of success. Not high enough yet, but of course, next step has been achieved. Perfect. And this is also just perfect. Stock exchange has been finished now, an organized market where stocks and bonds can be bought and sold. The stock exchange is a central element of the modern market economy, and with that we get a 10% market access price impact, which is great because this is increasing my market prices, especially also my export prices. It leads to a whole bunch of new laws that we're going to enact soon. And with that, we don't have any active research right now, and it's going to be interesting. Look at that, railway is already being researched, so I don't need to worry about that. In the military, we have finished the line infantry, which to my opinion is the most important one that we can get, so I don't need to even actively research that. So I think we might actually go into a society tree and have a look at something. And yeah, the currency standard is actually a really fast one. It's already been inspired, and it only takes me up to 2 years max to finish this one here, and this gives me then the banking technology that we have here that increases my minting and loan interest rates. Since we're a minor power at the moment, we struggle with interest rates on that, and we definitely want to get this down as well, and this is where the banking is coming in handily then. Central archives looks pretty damn interesting too, because it just increases my taxation capacity by a flat 25, which is huge, and this could then increase my balance quite a bit as well. Alright, new problem appears. That is now the poor laws. The radicalization is even higher now than before, so we've got just 2 more million radicals. The problem with that is that the industrialists and trade unions really want this to go, and they are going with military power here against us. We'll just see where it goes. I have no idea at the moment how high their power is. Break banks. To outside observers, the samurai may appear firmly committed to the idea of dedicated police force, but behind this facade of unity, discord has long festered. Now a clique of dissenters have finally had enough and have officially broken with their fellow members. Alright. This is also dangerous. Oh. Alright, the best out of this is probably the offer them custodianship over a new draft. We can do this because we don't have a setback yet. This gives me a setback though, but it is increasing the enactment chance here by another 5%, which is good. The samurai though lose a pop attraction, which is also good for us long-term wise. So I think this one here goes ahead. With that, we are going up here to 20% of this. Unfortunately, I cannot now go for the poor laws at the moment because we already have another enactment already coming in. By the way, the poor laws is just... yeah, the endorsement here is only at 5%, so even if I would like to, we can't go with the poor laws. It absolutely is not possible because the majority would oppose. So I don't know what this revolution here is about. Because the cloud here is really not even 5%. Yet there is 18 million that support this movement. Continue right away with the event that we have here. When you have a hammer, and General Enomoto, noting a severe unrest in Hokkaido, has proposed using the army to suppress agitation in the area while his political allies support him, there is a heavy risk of following his plan. And with this one we can actually reduce the group approval of the Haimin, which is not good. Enomoto is demoted. Or we must use the tools we have to solve the problems we have. There is a 66% chance of a progress of civil war by 5%. So let's reprimand the general and reject the plan. The Haimin lose that. This is problematic because, if I have a look at that, the Haimin, there he is, yep. We don't have any other general except Shogunate, and I don't want that. So unfortunately... oh, he's only demoted though. Yeah, let's go ahead with this. He's only demoted, right? So not thrown out or anything like that. This would have been very problematic then for us. Alright, revolution is at 11% progress right now per checkpoint. So this is still taking quite some time here. And we're building up our army in the meantime as well, right? So barracks in Kansai is still being finished. And then we have our military here. So our army situation on the line infantry side. And what could we do here? Because I definitely do want to do something here. So there are light infantry. We've already upgraded them. That's good stuff. And we got already some 3 of them here stationed. Let's have a quick look inside. We don't have weapons at the moment, the small arms. We need them though. And oh, we also don't have any organization, what I can see. So general training is something we can do. This is increasing the training rate by 450, and it also increases the officers' total employment rate. So let's go ahead with this method there for the moment. However, it doesn't change a thing if we don't have more weapons. So what I need to start is an arms industry. We're doing this in Kyoto right away because we have the resources there. It's also in the middle, so transportation of iron and wood is fast. And there it is, arms industry. We don't have that yet, and this is producing then small arms at the cost of some iron and hardwood. It also increases, once again, the employment rate of laborers, shopkeepers, and machinists. So everything that we really need. Let's go ahead and do this, and let's actually also stop with the barracks for the moment, because honestly, we don't need that. Not anymore. We have a huge capacity now with already a level 27 barrack, right? So that's too much anyway. Now we need to provide weapons. Oh, very nice. The law is now in adoption phase already, so there was no more setback. And the servicemen of the Kansai barracks have begun organizing into council in order to advocate for higher wages and better treatment. What? I've just recruited you! The samurai views this as an active threat to their legitimacy. What is this? They're new. We just recruited them. They can't already go for higher wages. There's a chance of civil war progression by 5%, or the samurai gets tolerated. No, our servicemen should be able to stand for their own interest, discipline them all, and bring in replacements. There is a 5% chance of servicemen pops in Kansai become more radical, or 5% of them, and barracks get the soldier council replaced. That's, oh, buildings throughput, 25% reduction for 5 years. But the chance of the progress of civil war is reduced by 5. I'm going with that. Even if it means a bit less efficiency for building up an army. Alright, the arms industry is now being built. That still takes some time. Now it continues with the movement, the procession of provocation. And dissidents in Hokkaido have announced plans for a major march around government offices in the near future. While they profess peaceful intentions and claim everyone will be unarmed, the march itself will obviously serve as a rallying point for those unhappy with the government. Stop the march or let the procession go ahead. 5% of the lower strata in Hokkaido become more radical. 50% chance the progress of the civil war is halted. And with this one here, we get quite a lot of options. I think stop that march. No, let the procession go ahead. Yeah, it actually reduced the revolution chance. Hokkaido, you know, Hokkaido is up here. What is going on? I mean, Hokkaido is only 73,000 people. I don't know what it's got anything to do with. Yeah, oh, okay. Yeah, the radicalization. The poor laws actually affect almost the whole country. Not the central part, but the outer parts here. And Hokkaido is one of that. Alright, but at least it was reduced by 20%. I still need time, right? So the longer this takes, the better for us, because the better our military is then again. Also, when I look at my construction, it's also pretty interesting. Look at that. Aristocrats investing in tobacco plantations in Chubu. That means, yeah, well, they actually struggle already with their power, and they just want to increase that by building more plantations, right? Thus increasing their influence again. Ersatz food. Struggling people in Kanto have been desperately trying to get their hands on any food they can. Dire warnings of a turnip winter have been spreading. What? We have enough food, as far as I know. The grain is plenty of, for sure. Fish is plenty for sure. We do have lots of it. Normal groceries are a bit low there, and the price is high. Alright. Alright, we could do something here. Mortality is increased by 2%. This is bad. Try to increase the local food production. Changes the progress of the civil war by 10%, and the Kanto gets farming incentives. This is actually really good. Of course I'm doing this. And by the way, for Kanto, there it is. We do have the food industry here already. Let's go ahead and increase that by another 2 levels. We want to get the food prices down. What else do we have here? Sugar we don't have really. Pot stills by using more sugar. We can actually get more. Yeah, no, that's not good. This is actually pretty good. The sweeteners, with that we increase the sugar price a bit, but we also get more groceries out. And with that actually also increase our balance, and it should reduce the prices for groceries then a bit. Yeah, it does. Perfect. It's still too high. So this is where we're using then the food industry production as well. Arms industry, there it is. The first one has been built. This is the beginning of a new era. Now we're producing small arms, and with that we can continue with the recruitment of soldiers in Kansai as well. So this should now speed up, right? And there you can see it. Arms is coming in, and with that this increases now the training rate significantly. Alright, once again the revolution have carried out a robbery in the state bank in Ryukyu. A significant amount of money has been stolen and redirected into revolutionary... Oh, okay, this is not okay. For 2 years we lose 2,500. Okay, rely upon the locals to report. This is not good either. Okay, order increased security around banks. That's the only thing we can really do. We still lose some 2,500 on the balance for the next 2 years. Alright, we have a problem also right now with an unacceptable government. This is then increasing the radicals from standard of living. We can reform it to a legitimacy of 91 if we replace the samurai by the Buddhist monks. Since the Buddhist monk cloud is pretty strong right now. And I think the Buddhist monks are not so bad for us. They're pious, patriarchal, and Buddhist moralists. What laws could we go with them? A theocracy, charity hospitals, alright, public health insurance, state religion. Nothing really that would really boost us except for perhaps the health system. Still, that would be a nice go for here. To increase that to a righteous government once more. And I think we're going with that for now. So we reform the government and throw out the samurai. And with the Buddhist monks, we actually get also some 20% authority because they're happy now. So that's also something we should be careful, of course, about. That the political groups, once they like us, we do actually get traits from them, right? That give me bonuses. And this is something we should also look into more carefully. So with the Buddhist monks, we're now happy with them. This gives me the divine right, which is 20% authority boost. If we go further up, we could also then go into negative 100% radicals from standard of living decreases. It doesn't sound so bad as well, right? Alright, a minor member of the Japanese nobility has been assassinated by a revolutionary force at his estate in Kanto. The surviving members of this family are demanding reprisals. Okay, this one actually progresses. Oh! Royal assassination, negative 20% shogunate political strength for the next 2 years. That's not bad. Either way, the shogunate is losing here. I think we can actually go with we must not allow this terror to divert us. 10% chance for the revolution, that's okay. And the shogunate loses a lot of power. I'm going with that. Oh, that was also quick. We now have a dedicated police force. That's perfect. We have now the law enforcement institution and 2 max law enforcement institution investments as well. This is great stuff. First of all, we have now room again to go for something new here, right? So perhaps the homestead is possible. Ooh, it's close. This is something great that we can use here. And institution-wise, we have now the law enforcement here. And this is another huge bump for the shogunate here. That is now going below 30 here on the cloud. Further getting them down. Perfect. Problem with the revolution, I still cannot... I mean, poor laws. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this and try it. The shogunate will oppose this further and will radicalize them, but they're not that strong anymore. Let's start the enactment process of poor laws. This should get rid of the revolution. It, however, will start the the shogunate revolution. However, their total supporting movement is only at 88,000 and they have no military to back it up. It's the aristocrats and the clergy that is actually fighting here. We'll see where it goes. This is some interesting dynamics here now. Ienari Tokugawa mistook an enemy in the industrialists. After accusing them with false charges, moderates and industrialists defected to the shogunate's cause. Ooh, that wasn't very smart of you. He should stand down. The progress of the revolution will go down, and he will also also the shogunate lose interest group pop attraction and popularity. This will further harm his cause there quite significantly. Another cool thing, a surprise police raid has uncovered a list of radicals associated with the Shogunate. There are several ways this list can be used to the government's advantage, and hunt down every member of that list will reduce the civil war by 10%. However, publicly expose the connections between the Shogunate and the radicals will give them another 25% interest group political strength reduction. Holy cow. They're completely collapsing right now. And it's really only 36,000 of the population, right? And there it is, poor laws have successfully progressed to the adoption of the law enforcement. So we are now in the adoption phase with a 63% chance. So this will most likely get enacted pretty soon. So we are really witnessing a historical moment here, by the way. This might be looking, or this might actually lead to the downfall of the shogunate now. And of the old caste system, and it might actually lead to the progressive Japan. We could also go down here, right? We could also lose a civil war and really get into trouble. We'll just see where this leads. For now, we also have an illegitimate government. The problem is the shogunate are no longer in the government now. However, our leader is of the shogunate, right? So the leader right now, the shogun, he's actually the shogunate, but they're out of the government as long as they're in the revolution state. And that's a problem, because now we don't have any legitimacy of the government. And the longer this also holds on, the worse for us. So not a very good state right now we are in. How's my army looking in the meantime? 21 battalions ready for action. And yeah, they're also of the petite bourgeoisie and of the Heimin. Do we have anyone new? No, only shoguns. And yeah, that's the only thing we can do right now. They should and actually stick with us, hopefully. In Nagoya, the revolution has its headquarters. So that's right beside my capital state, which has the army. So if they go to war with us, they really shouldn't stand a chance there, right? Alright. Also, I think grocery prices are looking better than ever. We are producing more grocery than ever. Could be more though still, right? Food industry, there it is. Yeah, prices are down now. I think we can still upgrade this by 1. And by the way, just in general, we do need a bit more building in the queue again. So a bit more wood, we definitely should be going for. Let's increase my sawmill production there. Every tenancy of the shogunate in Kansai has rental prices beyond reasonable limits. Their tenants direct their ire at the government for not protecting them. Seize the ringleaders. Oh, they would be charged. And progress actually goes down, and the aristocrat pops become more radical. Doesn't sound so bad. This would actually give the revolution another 10%, but it would also further reduce their group strength. Difficult. Standard of living for the lower strata in Kansai. That is a huge population there, by the way. And change progress for the civil war by 5%, or we just get 10%, but the shogunate loses more strength. Yeah, difficult. Seize the ringleaders. Let's do it. With that, we are really going for civil war now. There is no turning back here. Quite honestly, I don't know if we survive this. I don't know how strong they really are. Can't see that. They're very small when it comes to population numbers, right? It all depends how many of the military will join them. Shouldn't be anyone really, because we built the military up from the ground. There's no one from the shogunate in here, and the military is getting stronger and stronger. So really, it should be in our favor. Alright, belligerent crowds have been getting increasingly provocative when confronted by troops in Tohoku. Hardliners in government are demanding tougher responses, while doves are calling for troops to stand down as the first hopeful step in de-escalation. Oh, and we have the poor laws. There it was, getting the tramps and hobos off our streets and into the workhouses is well worth the cost. This costs me a bit, it increases my welfare payments, but also it is leading to more... Oh, what is now? Oh, now we get the next revolution. The first revolution is over though now, right? So that was fantastic. We could get the shogunate now back in power again. 26% chance. As long as we have that leader here, we probably should go for it. Yeah, and with that, we would get the legitimacy back again. So I'm doing this, right? For the moment, we need the legitimate government back in place here. if we want to keep it stable. There it is. And now we're still working on the laws here to further reduce their power, right? So the law enforcement was one of the steps here, and I think the homesteading now is another one that we can do. And now it's also positive, right? So now this probably will work out as well. This gives a political strength to the farmers. It would radicalize the samurai and the shogunate further. But, holy cow, intelligentsia will love it. We get 2 bonuses from them right away. We also get Haimin 20 for the Haimin. And so this gives me a lot of bonuses right away from the political groups as well. So let's just check this out quickly. Intelligentsia. We do get 10% society research speed. And we do also get the 25% migration attraction. And for the Haimin, we do get, agricultural throughput and also infrastructure 10% increase. Really good stuff there, right? Plus we get the law. Plus we abolish serfdom, which will reduce the political strength of the shogunate by 50%. So if this gets enacted, they're really done for. I don't think they could survive it. This will probably lead to another civil war situation again though, right? So it's very difficult to decide. I think we just should go for it. Oh god, Japan is so interesting. I love it. Really, it's so much more interesting, I think, than, for example, the US playthrough. Because there's so many society things going on right now. Social problems and conflicts. And we also have to build food industry, logging camps. We're not looking good on the money side right now. Some prices look horrible. Wood, for example. Groceries. And fabric is also now increasing. Of course, the military wages are now coming. Welfare payments is only 460, so that is negligible for now. I mean, yeah, let's go ahead, enact it. Homesteading. This will lead to a whole new bunch of problems now. Preserve serfdom. The counter movement has been started right away. However, we get all the bonuses of the Haimin and the intelligentsia. So migration attraction we have, society research we have. Also, we get the manufacturing tax income from the industrialists, and we get the 10% infrastructure and agricultural throughput right away. This is a nice boost to the economy on top of everything. And of course, it once again starts with the shogunate being radicalized and out of the government once more. Oh, how long can they survive this, honestly? We need a new leader, that's for sure as well. Yeah. Interesting stuff, really. I love this. Going to be interesting where it goes to. We could reform the government. It will not give me a legitimate government, though. We need to survive the civil war. It needs to start at some point. There's no way around it, right? Homesteading has a 96% chance of success in the introduction phase. So this will definitely lead to a positive outcome there. Food industry, meantime, in Edo is being finished soon. Let's go ahead and have some 3 more levels. We need more food for sure. The logging camps are important. Any other prices we have high? Luxury is fine. Porcelain is fine. Food is now perfectly average again. Very good. The price is going down. The same goes with the wood. This also has now the honorable restoration event in place. The shogunate has ruled over an isolated and stagnant Japan for centuries. If we wish to have a place in the rapidly modernizing world, we must restore power to the rightful emperor. And this one is the downfall of the shogunate. We are already pretty far ahead here, right? So we need to defeat them at least in a revolution, or we must have the following for true for 10 years. They're not powerful and not part of the government. Yeah. In that case, we are on the track for this. This would then lead to the Ienari restoration, which is something we definitely will need to get if we want to modernize Japan. The reactionary leanings of many clergymen affiliated with the Buddhist monks have given rise to demands to curb the political influence of religious organizations. Both bolt their temples shut and arrest clergy who resist. Buddhist monks become a rebel. Why? Why do the Buddhist monks join? They're not part of the revolution. Change of progress, political movement. Both the temples, I think. I mean, I don't know why I would go any other way. Not that we have a lot of radicals right now anyway. Alright, cause the Haimin and the Samurai are jockeying for minor but favoring concessions regarding the homesteading. Supporters of Kodama are calling for a resolution. Let them bicker, or throw one a bone if it will silence them. But this is a random chance. Let them bicker, we get interest group approval. And 15% group attraction for the petite bourgeoisie. Which is fine for me. Yeah, let them bicker. And with that we get also the 100% chance here that this goes into the consideration phase. This is such an important law. We need to finish this pretty quickly though. Alright, mobs have surrounded an arsenal in Kansai, threatening to seize the arms and munitions stored within. While the guards are staving off attacks for now, if no relief is sent, then the arsenal will fall to the insurrectionists. The mob could be emboldened by surrender, but we need to take that risk. Or a relief column could escalate tension a little, but it's necessary. And yeah. We only have 100,000 servicemen pops in Kansai though. And only 5% of them would become more radical. Honestly, at this point it would be fine if they actually go to military conflict with us. There are not that many, right? 500,000 now. Shogunate and the samurai. Their total population is negligible, really. And the military strength, they have no one in the military, right? So some clergymen, the aristocratic here, farmers, some shopkeepers, strangely enough. And some officers, but really a tiny fraction of what we have. And my Japanese army is fully employed now, so that's 27 battalions. And we're going to increase this now by another 3, I think. Alright, we have passed and are in our in consideration phase. By the way, all of this is happening while my GDP still goes up quite steeply. I like this. The economy is not really suffering that much yet. Right, even though we can see some revolutionary appearances throughout the country right now. And yeah, we continue onwards in the next episode. We're back here, still fighting the Shogunate, and we might actually come to a tipping point now soon. Now, their power has been severely disrupted in the last episodes, down to 26% now. Well, down from 50% they had. And also the population shrank quite a bit to only 37,000 now. So even if they're angry with us, we don't really care about, because it's not that many people anymore. However, of course, it's a lot of powerful people that are in this group, like the aristocrats. So they still have some saying, and they still have some power over us, of course. That we'll see how strong they are, right? So how severe it is. We're enacting the homesteading right now. This will be successful. This is the most important law up to this point here, by the way, because it abolishes serfdom. And this is one of the major things that happened in Japan, and that's one of the major things that we need to do if we want to really get rid of the landowners, the shogunate. And by doing this, we are also going to take away the 50% political strength of the shogunate if this is successful. So if it is successful, the shogunate is done for, right? And this is why they're also fighting it so vehemently right now. Alright, opportunistic members of the petite bourgeoisie have defected to the samurai's cause. What? Alright, but why should they do this? Try to coax some back. We would lose some bureaucracy. I'm fine with that. In that case here, not all of them move over. No idea why they would do something like that. We're a bit negative now on the bureaucracy. It's okay, it gives me 5% tax waste. That's something we can live with. It's only temporary for 2 years. Business-wise or economy-wise, we're in the process of finishing the food industry up in Kanto. So this is going to level up then to 8. We are using the sweeteners already to produce as much food as possible. And as long as the prices are medium, I'm fine with it. Grain-wise, we're still having a nice surplus. But of course, we need to be careful there. It already went down for 1,000 up from 2,000 balance that we had to this one. Tools is crazily high. The same with iron. That's perfect. Wood is lacking a bit. And I'm pretty sure, paper is also struggling, or, well, trying to, or actually climbing there a bit up now on the prices too. But food is important, and wood, that's 2 things that we need to really tackle there right now. We got the logging camps in Chuhoku. They're already full, right? So there's not much more I can do here, so we do need some more wood production. just check it out. We do have some more logging camps in Tohoku. We have the workforce there to back it up too. And in Chubu we have still some slots available there too. Let's go to Tohoku first. It's more peaceful over there. Building 5 more should be fine. Alright. So I really want to see what's going on. Japanese aristocratic revolt started revolution diplomatic play against us. So they're actually going to war. And this is the thing that I'm fearing the most right now. And we'll just see where it goes. Alright, the cool thing is we could actually sway Russia to help us. Oh no, the Japanese Shogunate would do this. No, is it us? We might have a go at them, it seems. We have 27 battalions in our hands, they have none. So we might not even need to do anything here, right? The reason for that is that the Shogunate, the old ones, if we would have armies here, they could use them, right? So as we can see, the Japan is now separated in 2 halves actually. The orange, the aristocratic revolt part, and then it's also us here, the capital Japanese state, right? So in this case here, all the soldiers are in our territory, on our capital, and the capital cannot switch side to the enemy, it's us, and in that case here we have them all in our power, so that means they basically will have no chance of winning this one here. Homesteading is in the adoption phase now, perfect, so this is coming along and will actually be pushed through. And of course we're struggling with a lot of things right now. We have a revolution now. We're losing a power rank because we are now separated in 2 halves, of course. My iron production is falling away now because it's in Tohoku, right? And we're losing that. So a lot of things are breaking apart right now. Also, Sakhalin and Hokkaido are isolated, no longer part of my empire. But I'm pretty sure that's only for now and we'll be able to manage and fix this. Now we are now in the diplomatic phase, so I could now sway Russia to help me. Should we do this? Sway with obligations? I'm not doing this because we don't need to, right? We would need to pay them something otherwise that I'm not ready for. We've got 27 people, 27 battalions. We can mobilize them and just, get cracking. So let's mobilize them. It's going to take a while for all of this, and we can use them to our power then. Wait a second. Deploy to the front, move to... Okay, this is new. Where are they? Down here? This is strange. Why are they down here? My headquarters is up here. This is strange. They're mobilizing in the wrong part of the country, even though my barracks are over here. This should not be happening. This is strange indeed. Deploy to the front. Move to the headquarters. I cannot do this because they are at the headquarters, but why is it down here? Alright, let's hope anything bad is messing up here. We are currently mobilizing them, so almost all of them have been mobilized. There they are, very good. They are now ready for action. But where are they? Why are they down here? Doesn't make sense. Mobilization fully mobilized now. Deploy to the front. Deploy to Tohoku Kansai front. Yes. Oh, I see. There is a front here. Okay. We need them at the capital though. Now they're here. Perfect. Alright, and there the war starting. Yep, that's the front. And we're fighting now. We're fighting against the Shogunate, the old powers. This is the big war. The war to win it all or lose it all. And there it is. It has broken out to arms. And we're going to... The thing is, this is all new, right? So this whole menu here is new. It has broken out and I think we're winning. I hope so. Deploy to the front. That's the front. There's a front down here, but there's nothing. There's no... I could... alright. That's okay. We do have now 3 fronts, right? Right now. Down here. In the middle. And up here in the north. And I can now send my troops to these fronts, right? With a bit of travel time. I can, for example, say, mobilize a bunch of them? Or one of them? Hold on, I'm confused. I'm sorry for this. This is the first war with the new update and I have no clue what's happening. I think there is no enemies, right, that would fight us right now, so that's the reason. We're now at the front, so in the previous version it actually just worked like that and we could advance now. But it doesn't. Deploy the first Japanese front. Alright, there it is. Homesteading. Farmers lay claim to plots of land which they work alongside their hired laborers, and with that, political strength of farmers is increased. The Shogunate is officially completely gone and changed from serfdom, right? So with that, we have a lot of things happening now. We're still at war, right? Yes, the war is still there. Political movement is disbanded now. Perfect. Napoleonic warfare is spreading to us. That's interesting. And the Shogunate is now at 12% cloud only, and we can now start actively suppressing them. Great stuff indeed. This is a big change. We're still in the middle of this very confusing war to me, but I'm pretty sure that we can actually get rid of that soon. Alright, I will need to create a new army, I think. And then we are going to transfer some of the units that we have from the first army to the second army. Right? 1 general and about 10 line infantry and 5 lancers. So that we have 2 armies now, and we can both use them now on the different parts of Japan, right? So the first Japanese army here, we can move to the front in the south. I think where they already are now. Oh no, they're up here in the north. Alright. And the second Japanese army we can down use to on another one. Ah, and the banking has also been unlocked. That was a research that we were going for already for quite some time now. And a vast financial institution, the bank provides security for public and private interests and become the centerpiece of a vast monetary network. We get minting bonus and also loan interest rates reduction, which is going to help me out on my balance quite a bit. And it also leads to the joint stock companies. Alright, I've separated my armies in 2. So we got 14 down here now and 15 up here. We are already advancing into the revolting northern territories, and with the third army that we have, I can now move them to the front lines down here, hopefully. Nope, there is no front anymore, it seems. This one is still active. This one has been now conquered. They're already losing morale. And alright, here we got it now. We are actually being attacked, so there was some casualties. And there's also some fighting now happening right over here. We're advancing further into Tohoku mainland now. I mean, there's 0 military units, but there's still 55 smaller soldiers stationed, it seems. And there we're taking it over too. So this country is also falling right now. I mean, it's our country after all, right? It's just some bad generals that we're fighting here. Alright, enact consumption-based taxation. That's also something new. That's a new movement that we have. First, we need to end the war here. And then we have destroyed them as well. And with that, I think there's no front anymore, right? No, they should merge now. They are. Perfect. And now we got both my armies here again. And that's basically it. There's nothing here else that we could do, right? We have conquered all the territory. And we're basically just waiting for them now to lose morale to the point where we actually can stop it. So there we can also see the different attacks that we had. Which was quite a lot, by the way. But only a few, right? We lost 8,000 men on my side there on these wars. But that was a bit confusing. Honestly, the first war after the update, I had more trouble realizing what was going on than before, I think. That's just that. Alright, they're losing morale quickly, so we just have to wait it out now, really. And we can have a look at the new researches that we have, because we definitely have some new researches. Military-wise, I would like to neglect it for now. But here, probably, the Central Archives is one of my go-to nows. Let's go ahead and do this right away. With that, we get the taxation boost right away that we can go for. And then... Can we already reform a new government? No, the Shogun is still there. That's something I still cannot really do. Yeah, we still need to wait there a bit to win it. Holy cow, and we've also unlocked railways by not even actively researching it, but because the inspiration from outside was so big that we got it, right? We can build railways now. However, that's still a bit off, of course. And there it is, the following war goals were enforced on the Japanese aristocratic revolt. It is over, capitulation, and the whole of Japan is unified once more. And the Shogunate has fallen from power, and Emperor Komei has restored the political primacy of the monarchy. This momentous occasion marks the end of centuries of shogunate rule in Empire of Japan and heralds a new era of modernization and reform. The emperor must choose his political allies carefully. And with that, a new era starts. We have gotten rid of them. That's the big quest that you have for Japan, especially in the beginning of the game, or until halfway through at least. And industrial might will see us through. This gives the industrialists a bigger interest group political strength. And it will also add the restoration of industrialization to Japan. We could also go with the intellectuals. That would give them a bigger strength again. Now for this, we could actually check out the parties, so the intelligentsia that we have, and what kind of laws they would support that would actually be helpful for us. So they would go for a presidential republic and also a parliamentary republic. They would probably also go for land voting. Yep, that's something they would strongly endorse. And then we have the suffrage things. That's also something they actually endorse. So these actually are important, right? The suffrage is something that really I would like to go for. And then we have the industrialists on the other hand. And those probably also would like to go for this. They would endorse it, I think. Yep, they would endorse the presidential republic. How's it looking with the suffrage? I think they would also do this. Yes, they would also endorse it. So it's fine, right? For my main laws that we can go for here, both of them are fine. I think I would actually like to go for the industrial might. Alright, also my capital state moves to Kanto with this. Either way. So either way, Kyoto will lose the capital state. Taro, Hiyashi will also die. And yeah, industrial might will see us through. And with that, Edo is now the capital, or Tokyo as we call it today. Great things indeed. Alright, my construction queue is now almost empty. Yep, we need to get cracking on this. So many things are happening now. This is really, really the end of an era, right? The shogunate are gone. The intelligentsia are now powerful. The Heimin are now powerful. Also, the samurai have lost some strength there. They're only influential now. And we also got some new journal entries then as well. So the path, restoration, industrialization of Japan. More than 70% of all Empire of Japan states have urban centers greater than 5 and a railway system. So this would be that. Restoration, the end of Sakoku. And yeah, we also need to end isolationism. So in this case here, we need to open up our markets. And we need to open the borders for this to happen. And retire the samurai. Almost all of this already has been fulfilled. Research Napoleonic warfare. And then it's over. And we can actually do this in 12 to 20 months. Let's go ahead and do this. With that, we would have the end of the samurai upon us. Very interesting stuff indeed. I love this. Fantastic. And Edo is now the capital. I hope Edo has now my military with that. Because we would need to move it otherwise. We also got now 3 armies. And I will probably need to make sure that I'm going to move them back to the first army of Japan. And this one here we're going to disband. And the third army we're also going to transfer over then. Right, so that's the first army. And we're going to get all of them over again. 1 army for now is actually what I would like to go for. There you go. Yeah, and it will disband the 3rd army. We still have the 2nd, but there's no one on board. Alright, so this is something that's kind of like in the loop for now. Recently published articles has debated where Empire of Japan's future lies after the end of Sakoku, weighing the benefits of aligning with other Asian counties or turning to the United States and the European powers. We must leave Asia behind and look to the Western powers. We will stand with our neighboring nations. And the future is uncertain. We must prepare for everything. I think this is better. It gives me diplomatic flexibility, so 10% influence flat, and yeah, a flat out bonus. And improving relationships is rather easy. Right. Right, we also need to reform the government, so we are going now with Buddhist monks and samurai for now. This gives me the highest legitimacy, which is very important to me right now, to get in a bit of stability. The samurai though are very weak, right? So they are basically non-existent anymore. I don't know, it's 0.1 cloud, yet we do get like 20 more legitimacy to the government, which is the highest out of all of them, so I can't do anything else. With the Jaime, the Intelligentsia, the Petite Bourgeoisie, we are also having the highest bonuses that we can get out of these. That's also going to help us out, and we probably want to keep it like that. With all of this, we probably can also enact a whole bunch of new laws. Religious schools would be open to us now. That's just so many new chances here. The charitable hospitals, that would actually be easy to pass, and they would not radicalize anyone except perhaps the industrialists. Now this is probably the most important one that we can do for now, and that's the appointed bureaucrats. We still have the hereditary, so the one where you can actually hereditary bureaucrats, where you can inherit that, and we're now going to go for appointed bureaucrats. So this gives me taxation capacity and also a political strength of the bureaucrats. Also, the intelligentsia will attract fewer aristocrats employed in urban buildings. This is pretty strong for a lot of things, and I would like to start the enactment process of that. The intelligentsia, of course, endorse it right away. The shogun, the landowners, they're opposing that, but they're only at 0.3% clout. So this should be having no problem really of getting enacted all the way up. And yeah, we've also boosted the approval rating of the industrialists and get the 10% manufacturing tax income on top of that. Alright, lots of things really. Let's just check it out, what we could focus on right now. A bit more food production, a bit more weapon production, and then there's something else, and that's the hardwood production that we need now. So I might prioritizing switching hardwood now up, but this will drastically reduce my normal wood production, right? But that is fine since we have a lot of wood. I'm going to go with my lesser logging camp, level 5 only, to produce the hardwood that we have. And with that we actually fix this problem without anything. Military railways. Being privy to the government's ambition to expand Empire of Japan railways, the samurai have offered to support these efforts in Kansai. Why the samurai? No idea. We create a size 1 railway in Kansai right away. Or we set the priority ourselves, we get legitimacy. No, let's get a level 1 railway in Kansai right away. Why not? I don't care about the samurai too much if they get a bit of strength. There we have the railway now. That will be working for us and creates infrastructure and urbanization. Speaking about the urban centers that we have, we should switch some of their work modes now. We have them all here in total now, so Kansai, Shogoku, Shikoku, and we can now change them to market stalls. So some of them don't even have this activated yet. And this gives me some services, and services once again also are taxed, so we get more taxes out, we get more laborers, shopkeepers and clerks out of this basic one. We could also go for the market squares right away, consume more glass and wood to produce more services, and I think this is a safe bet. The other one is the gas streetlights, so we consume a bit more coal, but we get more services out and also infrastructure bonus on top of that. So I would like to activate this too. This will most certainly lead to an increased consumption of coal now, but it shouldn't be too severe. So we can see this here, there it is, and we still have a surplus of coal for the moment, and increased tax capacity now as well, and more money with that. Alright, engines would be now something that we should be working on. And adopt the state Shinto. With the restoration of the imperial household's political power, it would be wise to integrate local beliefs into an official state religion, emphasizing the emperor's divinity. This one here would give me the Shinto religion. Buddhist monks, of course. Alright, they would lose the Buddhist moralist ideology. Alright, has completed that. Empire of Japan has enacted monarchy. What is the bonus of Shinto religion? I would not know why we should be going for this right now. I don't think it doesn't also have any traits that would help us there, so I'm not going for it yet. The Yokohama incident. Great Britain has attempted to force open one of our harbors, demanding access to the port in Kanto. Fight back, negotiate, or perhaps Russia could help. No, negotiate gets Sakoku violated for 9 years. Oh, fight back, we get 25% devastation, or perhaps Russia could help. We owe an obligation to Russia then. All of them are bad. Fight back, Sakoko must be protected. I would like to go for this now. We get a bit of devastation in Kanto, but that's about it. And I think it will lead down on further escalation for opening the market. We could still have a look at that. Alright, so either we get forced with the open markets, or after enacting appointed bureaucrats, which is now already in the consideration phase, after that we could just go for the law that we have here, trade policy. Right now we are isolationist, but we could actually go for protectionism. This gives me some market trade policies then now, and we can actually also enact this one, right? The industrialists endorse this one. No one really strongly opposes that other than the old shogunates, so the landowners, but they're marginalized at this point and we don't care about them. So protectionism would probably be my go-to here then after we enact the current law. And with that we can open up the markets then and start with trade routes and other new mechanics. I hope you enjoyed this one. On to a new era, and a new era is upon Japan. Yeah, well, the devastation you see here around Edo, our new capital, of course, future Tokyo, is devastated not because the volcano is, smoking, nope, because of the revolutions that we had. And we do have some major devastations in this area right now, with 42% increased mortality and negative 20% state construction efficiency. It's going to take a while for this to repair, but of course that was quite important. By the way, other cities are not faring so much better. Kyoto also has some minor destruction. And we are in the middle of a new law right now with the appointed bureaucrats. This is another major step forward here with that law. And we do have right now our new government here right now, the contested government of the samurai, not very strong at the moment. Of course, the samurai, getting rid of them is another one of my goals now that we have. So we're keeping them, well, very unpopular here with high taxes as well. So it's going to be easy for us to destroy them for good then at some point, because they're also rather conservative. And we can't allow that for a nation that needs to move forward. Now, as the special privileges of the samurai class diminish, their special right to carry swords as a status symbol has been called into question. We're in 1853. I don't know if it's a bit too early for that. It's time for the right to for this right to be abolished. And with that, the samurai gets the revoked swords rights for 9 years, and they lose 15% interest group political strength with that. This is pretty strong, right? 10% of my officers, though, and my servicemen become more radical. We don't have a lot of radicals right now. After the revolution, it dropped significantly down again. We were at 4 million already, and we're down to 500,000 there right now. So this is not so bad. To take a samurai sword would be to tear out his soul. And we get an interest group approval, and they also get more political strength again. Now, I'm a bit surprised right now that the samurai are actually Republican, and they oppose monarchy, and they would endorse a presidential republic. I don't know when it changed to this, because they're also jingoists, so this is a strong endorsement of the professional army, that's fine. But Republican, that's actually new to me. Not that bad, not that bad. Still, we're not going to give them any further bonuses here. So we are going to, revoke the right for swords. Finally, also for the samurai. A bit early, perhaps, but still, we're going ahead with this as well. Now, economy-wise, we are right now in the glasswork business. we need a bit more glass because I need to modernize my urban centers, and glass is pretty important for that. This will give me then also more services, and with that more taxation, and also here paper mills for my additional bureaucracy that I have, and then some coal mines again to boost my engines. Right, but I think that's it for now. My investment pool is running out, so we're going to see a massive drop there in the balance again once this is the case. That should be the case now. Once the investment pool is down for good. There it is, and now we're negative again. Alright, our efforts to pass the appointed bureaucrats law have run into several classic bureaucratic hurdles. Debates rage around such lofty matters as the correct shape of filing cabinets. We will spare no expenses. This actually cost me some bureaucracy for a while. Goods and fasts. This will take as long as it takes. Enactment takes longer. Alright, but we do get bureaucracy. And yeah, I think we can go ahead with that. A bit longer is fine for me. Now, another journal entry that we have is that we need to move or push the urbanization of Japan. And right now, we only have 2 of them that are level 5, and one is close, and another one is close too. 3 are actually close. So this is something we should probably push as well a bit. We do have the new free churches here that we could go with. This would give me more clerks over the clergymen. And the clergymen, rather a smaller group, right? And based on the aristocrats, and the clerks are more like the laborers. And in this case here, I would like to change this to the free churches here. Can I do it for all at once, please? Unfortunately not. So I will need to do this now manually. Urban centers, there it is. Free churches, please, for all of them. And transportation-wise, we could go for public transportation. However, I don't have engines at the moment. So this is actually a bit of a problem there for me right now. All right, urban centers. We do have the next one that I could focus on is Kyushu. That would be then all the way down here. And we have a level 3 urban centers. Let's have a look at Kyushu. What we could do here, we already have some 3 urban center buildings, so a glasswork I could push to another level. Textiles are actually quite good right now. We have coal mine here, we got the fishing wharfs. Very important, let's give it its own construction sector. So this definitely is giving us some urbanization then as well. Yeah, with the university we could start soon. This is actually a huge boost to it. And I think, yeah, why not? Let's go ahead with the first universities as well. I can do the same thing though in Edo as well. In Kyoto we have an urban center 6, so it's not that important. It will increase the consumption of papers there quite a bit. With universities, however, we get a whole new wave of academics now and laborers, and these are all very, very important. Academics, we actually have none at the moment in Japan, so this is something we definitely should push a bit. It's also boosting my research then quite a bit as well, and that's going to be more important as we're going into more expensive researches. And there is an urban center level 4, so let's also give this a university. And taxation is actually, taxation is not so great. We could also give it a government administration. That's giving me a bit of urbanization, and then perhaps increasing the paper mill there by 2 and the logging camps as well. There's lots of construction right now we need to do in order to modernize Japan forward. All right, engine shortage is fine. The second army right now is a bit unorganized, so we can disband it. Alright, kind of like the game urges us to do a decision and adopt the state Shinto. With the restoration of the imperial household to political power, it would be wise to integrate local beliefs into an official state religion, emphasizing the emperor's divinity. Let's go ahead and do this, and with that we also boost the Shinto monks quite a way, and with 40% conversion bonus as well. And since this interest group is powerful, their interest group traits have a 100% stronger traits with the Shinto monks now. And let's quickly check it out what this gives me. That's a 40% conversion, alright. And the other one would be 30% authority. So perhaps we should get them up there a tiny bit more, because this bonus here is holy cow powerful. Another change I should do in the government administration, that is we're moving away from clergymen to bureaucrats now with the next one. The secular administration doesn't really do that much else other than just shifting some power from the old kind of like Haimin and Shinto monks more over to the intelligentsia and the petite bourgeoisie, right? And with that they do also then gain political strength, and they're part of the middle strata. So this also doesn't change a lot, but still this is another shift towards a more secular area. And we can do the same thing then here in the academia sector. University, we don't have that yet, but for the first universities then we are also going to a secular university system. One more thing for my ports, we don't have that many yet, but we can go with a cargo port now. This will increase my clipper consumption a bit. The price stays almost, yeah, it's growing a bit, but it's not expensive yet. And we do gain more infrastructure and convoys out of that. And since of course we are aiming for an open market soon, this will be pretty important there as well. Alright, we're at 21% chance of success to adoption, so this is not so bad. This is coming along, though it's way slower than expected. And that's about it for the moment, I think, for my work modes. And yeah, we're also in the middle of building the first universities now in Kyushu. We will see it. There it is, in all their glory. They're now going to consume some paper, so the price of paper will be going up, of course. There it is. The vacancies are being filled now with academics, so this is a whole new workforce that we see now in emerging in Japan, right? And they used to be the aristocrats, and now they're the academics, a new profession that is now growing. And yeah, boosting our research output, so our innovation, our qualifications. So this means that more people will switch to professions they need rather than staying in the old ones, which is very important for industrialization. And then also a nice boost to urbanization. And with that, hopefully, we will also see the rise of bigger urban centers coming up soon. And there it is. That was really long, but very, very important. And we have the appointed bureaucrats, another major step forward. And bureaucrats are appointed by rulers to serve the country's best interests in exchange for high wages. And with that, holy cow, 25% more taxation capacity and also 25% political strength to bureaucrats. And we can see this on the balance too. It jumped up to 25k there for a second and is now stabilizing around 17,000. So about 13,000 more than before with my iron frame building construction industry up and running here. So that's pretty cool stuff. With that, we can leave it permanently on now for sure as well. And yeah, we can go ahead with the next law. We do have this option here right away with consumption-based taxation. Doesn't sound so bad. While highly supported, it will mess around with my income a bit because right now we're taxing based on land. So I would like to keep this a bit longer and we move to another law in the meantime. And that, of course, the most important law that we have for the current era now is our trade policy. Right now we're still isolated. There's no trade allowed with anyone. And now I would like to move on, first of all, for the first time, to open our markets. This is a very important step also towards the restoration of Japan. And with that, we need to decide between those two here, mercantilism and protectionism. Since I don't have a very strong industry yet compared to the great superpowers, I'd rather go with protectionism so we get a nice export tariff and a nice import tariff that we need. Also, the support is just simply higher for this. Both of them are a huge upgrade towards isolationism, right? Because with that, we basically have no trade at all, and trade is just amazing for also making money. So let's go ahead and start the enactment process of the protectionism. This will take a while now again, but it should be faster than the previous one, since we do have some political powers here that actually support this as well. And that's the important thing. We have an unacceptable government right now. That's okay. It's not bad. If we reform it, do we get any bonuses? Nah, nothing at the moment. Nothing we can do there for now. The samurai is simply still too powerful there for what they can do to us. So we need to reform a bit further. Meanwhile, we are also continuing to build universities, another government administration. Another university that's been finished here now. And then we probably will need to build a few more government administrations to get that bureaucracy leap there again. Probably with that, we have now a nice weapon, paper consumption starting. There it is. But it's really just tiny still. Oh, groceries also something we should push. Now, for groceries, that's the important thing. And that's the cool thing is we do need them, right? And at the same time, they boost urbanization. So I would like to have some more of them in areas where we do need, urban centers. So here we have a level 4 one. So I would like to go ahead and start a food industry in Kyushu. And up here we have an urban center level 4. So I would also like to go ahead and give me a food industry in Sendai. Alright, diplomatic tour. The ruling Shinto monks led by the charismatic Oshio has initiated a great promotional tour. The decision to focus efforts domestically or internationally has been left to the last minute. However, it's unclear if Shinto monks will do more for itself or for the country as a whole. The tour should drum up support for the Shinto monks, or it should drum up support for the Empire of Japan. Shinto monks? Not really, I think not. Yeah, let's get us the influence for the Empire of Japan. And enacting. Oh yeah, protectionism is already in the consideration phase. That was also rather quick. Another paper mill we finished in Tohoku, where we, by the way, also have now a urban center level 5. Urban center for Hokkaido will be tricky. Do we need it for Hokkaido as well? That's the big question. We need to have it in more than 70% of all the empire, all the states, right? We're at 22% of that now. So Hokkaido, I think we can leave out. And the same goes with Sakhalin. With the other ones, we definitely will need to have urban centers though, at least on level 5. right? Strangely enough, Edo does not have it yet, or Kanto. So a boost to my university is something I would like to do. And we probably could also start a whole new industry here that we're also going to need in the future. We do have steel and motor industry. Both of them are going to be very important. However, since we have a nice harbor here with Yokohama, I would like to start with a shipyard as well. This gives me another huge urbanization boost, and it starts the production of clippers. That is something we're actually going to need the more trade routes we're going to have then as well. So let's start a shipyard there. And while we're at it for the clothes, it's actually fine. I don't think we need to boost this really. We could go another food industry. Let's definitely go for another glasswork though. Oh, come on. No, we don't really need that since we have enough glass on the market at the moment. So that's fine. Let's just hope that with the shipyard we actually get there. Biggest backward country that we have right now, state, is Shikoku, this island here, with the big beautiful cities of Tsukumo, Matsuyama and Tagamutsu. And in this case here, urban level 1 is the case right now. So we can start with that, having a university here, boosting the glassworks and giving it probably... We could probably use this one here for a steel industry area. Do we have anything? It would be good for ports. Yeah, shipyard building, port level. Yeah, let's also start with a port level here. It gives me some urbanization, and we're going to need convoys soon. Plentiful with the opening of the market, and perhaps also another shipyard here to just jumpstart the urban center. And it should have its own construction sector too. Let's actually move this up. Crap! Protectionism has fared poorly in public debates, is decreased and is back in the consideration phase with a 0 success chance right now, but a 20% advanced chance, so it should not be so bad. Alright. Holy moly, that's also pretty important. Central archives. A modern state requires a good record keeping, and good record keeping requires thorough paperwork. And with that, we get 25 more taxation capacity flat out without building any more administrations, and another +1 to the max home institution investment that we, as far as I know, don't have yet. So we still need to enact this one as well. A bit more taxation comes in again, so we're using more and more of our potential, the taxation potential. Next, research is going to be a tricky one for me. We do have a bunch of options. I haven't used my production there in a while. The distillation process for the food industry is passively being finished in a few days. I don't need to worry about that. We could go for a glass boost here if we use more lead, but glass is really not the problem. The basma process for producing more steel out of coal and iron, that sounds pretty good to me, since steel is going to be my most important upcoming here. And intensive agriculture is actually pretty important because we are already, for example, struggling a bit with the grain upkeep. We have a negative now balance here, and with that we can easily boost that by using fertilization. And fertilization is also something we actually need, the fertilizer plants, for you, kid you not, for one of my journal entries here. So let's go ahead, and then the basma process as these two new ones. And we do have it then retire, end of Sakura, and industrialization. So those are the things, and I think that's looking good so far. There's the branching out. The central archives is also something we're working on right now. And yeah, suffrage would be in the path to liberalism. For now, the journal entries should be fine, as far as I can see. There's the distillation. So with that, we get a new technology that leads to, but more importantly for the food industry, we have the patent stills now. Let's quickly have a look at that. I think we cannot go for it right away. Patent stills, there it is. It would consume some glass. It would give me more liquor and more groceries. We could also go for the pot stills, and this gives me also more liquor down the road than here, and just consume a bit more sugar. Way more important is though that we get an increased employment in shopkeepers and machinists over the normal grocery production. With the increase in shipyards across the empire, we do need a bit more wood. Fabric, strangely enough, still holds up. That's great. We need it for sales, actually, and that is something I don't need to worry about. Food, groceries still. We have a very fast population growth right now, and this leads to more food consumption overall. A bit of alcohol. Yeah, not really. Clothing would be something. Wood is important, though, so logging camps here are already full. I think up here we still have a bit of room. And yeah, there's nothing really we could do here to boost it further. Russia has attempted to force open one of our harbors, demanding access to the port of Kanto. Fight back. Kanto gets 25% devastation. We lose some relationship with Russia, the third greatest power right now. Negotiate to meet with some of their demands. We would lose prestige. Or perhaps Great Britain could help us meditate this problem. We would owe an obligation to Great Britain. Let's fight back and get a bit of a devastation there. And yeah, the rest is fine. The devastation only lasts for some time, really, for I think 2 years or so. I would also like to continue with having more construction sectors, so we can have one more in Jubu, especially also to boost that urbanization. One more in Shikoku, and I think here we do have an urban center 5 already. There's 5 now too. There's 5 now too, so we're really on the way there. Kanto is still missing it, so let's build actually 2 more. So 3 more upgrades to my urbanization level, and we might also give this one another port that we'll need then. Anyway, I think that's it for now. Yeah, textile mills. We can also boost this since clothes is actually in demand, and we do need more of that. This will increase to more fabrics, and for that we do need a few more animal plantations, animal farms. What we also see, a new movement has be founded, and that is the preserve isolationism and the landowners. That's the old shogunate. They want that, right? And we're still suppressing them actively. They're at 10% cloud only. Yeah, and of course we're keeping that as low as possible. I don't expect that many more radicals out of this zone here. Of course, we do have some radicalization right now, thanks to all these law enactments and also demands for new laws like the consumption-based taxation and the land voting that we have here as well. The intelligentsia would actually like that if we move from autocracy to landed voting, and as we can see, yeah, there is a good chance that this actually gets through, and I'm not super against it, honestly. We would lose authority, but we would also unlock with that the suffrages. Wealth voting and census suffrage we have then down the road here. Difficult. Very good. It progressed to the adoption phase, so protectionism will soon have as well. One thing we can actually do is I could stop with the suppression of the landowners. It does cost me authority that we could use otherwise, and they're pretty weak anyway and are going to continue to lose. So in that case, I don't really need that. And with that, we can enact something again. I would still give Hokkaido a bit more migration attractions. We can use the green or grass campaign. With that, boosting its immigration a bit, because we're still not using all the gold mines here. And General Staff has been passively unlocked. Having a set of officers to act as a conduit between the High Command and the troops themselves allows for greater communication and effectiveness across the board for my military, and it unlocks me also a few more military tax that we are going to need at some point. Really, military is not going to be one of my focuses for quite some time there still. Now, come on. It wasn't successful. Come on. More pragmatically inclined members of the industrialists currently opposed to the passing of protectionism have offered to change their stance were they to be offered certain political concessions. Such concessions would not be popular with the Haimin. And enactment chance. We could go with it. We would lose support with the Haimin though for 5 years. Now, I do not consider them my greatest friends here. And, oh come on, a -3 leads us to -6 then. Yeah, with that we would actually get a 20% reduction in technology spread. This is not good at all. And we are also pretty far away from honest work and especially farmer markets. Not good at all. Compromise. We do get 10% enactment reduction. This is pretty severe as well. But we do get a bonus with them again. Yeah, I need to. I don't want to get the penalty. Right? This is just a bit of a problem there. With that, we also lost another prestige bonus. And with that, we might lose a rank here soon. Which is not a big deal though to me at the moment. Alright, logging camps are coming along. Then some upgrades to the construction sector. And then some more textile mills. So this is all fine. We're still waiting now on this very important law. Yeah, my universities start to work though now. That's important. That's a huge step forward. And then we continue onwards. Foundation, a very important foundation to our empire, and that is the university education. And now I've just realized something. We are a bit full on gold there right now. We got 3.5 million gold reserves and we have a very good balance. And that means, of course, we need to invest in something because the gold itself is just dead stuff to us, right? That weight, and we want to use that somehow. And by using that, I mean, yeah, increasing my construction sector once more. We're already doing this by building three more levels actually in Shikoku, in Kanto as well. And that's going to be pretty important. We need to kind of like get a bit negative, not too much. Yeah, that would be fine to me, I think. We're still having high taxes and also high government wages, as it should be right now. And we're also still using some consumption taxes here as well. Now, that means that there's not that much more I can do here with the money. Now, with the construction sectors finished, we can see we're going a bit negative there now. Well, perhaps almost. And we are past 100 construction capacity there as well. That means we can now build 3 buildings at the same time, and that's also pretty darn important to us for our future expansion. Speaking about expansion, those 3 buildings are being built right now, as we can see. Textile mill port in Kanto. So we should check out what we need with the new construction sectors. We definitely have an increase in iron, in tools, and also in wood once more. Wood is actually pretty steep here. Probably also some cloth there again, and groceries as always at the moment. So let's go ahead and increase my logging industry here in Tohoku to the maximum. Nothing else I could do here right now, so there's also no way that I could actually go ahead and, yeah, boost the outcome here, other than going away from the hardwood again, back to the prioritized softwood production. With that, we would solve the wood production right away. However, we would have a small hardwood negative then. I think, though, this is still the right way here. A small shortage we have for sure now. What could I do about that? Taxes, the income is still fine for the logging camp. The solution here would be for me to actually just switch the work mode of some logging camps and not of all of them, right? So we're just going here with a smaller in between. So Shogoku definitely stays there with a level 20. In Chubu, we could go to hardwood, and this would increase it to 80, and with that we actually have it fixed already, right? With that we already have enough hardwood again on the market a bit so that it stays stable. And wood on the other hand is still now fine. It's not super good, but it's still fine. And with that it's at 165, so we halved the negative here, and then we of course built the logging camps and should be golden. Now, protectionism is my law that we're currently going for. This is still in adoption. It's taking us too long at this point once more. It had a very good start, but for quite some time now it's pretty back here, and it's leading to a backlog of things right now that is also increasing my radicalization. 5 million is still fine though. Most of them are from the Haimin, and in that case most of them are also peasants, so it's not super bad for us right now. Still, it's not ideal. Now, this urban center is now level 2. Still not super nice there as well. My journal entry shows me for the restoration. Industrialization, we're still at 22%. We still need the 5 equal with Shikoku. And then we need railways, right? This is the other big step. So we have now urban centers in almost all of my provinces. There's still a level 4 one. Let's give it another construction sector boost. And port-wise, yeah, it has access to the ocean. Let's also give it some port here. This gives me infrastructure and convoys, and something we will actually need. And let's also give it a nice boost to the food industry once more. This, by the way, also leads to quite the grain shortage that we have now. So unfortunately, I'm not a huge fan, but unfortunately we will also need to look a bit into farming there again. So perhaps my central provinces could do something. There's the rice farms, right, that we are having here. They produce fruits, grains, and sugar. So that's quite a lot, right? And let's go ahead and boost its output there a bit by, yeah. Let's make it 5 additional levels there. Alright, enact consumption-based taxation is leading to a new revolution of the Haimin. I really don't like consumption-based taxation that much. So I don't know if what we should do here now. Not that much, unfortunately. They're just very powerful, right? It's one of the main things of these guys here. Let's just hope that we can finish protectionism at some point now. Really, it should be finished at some point soon, so that we can move to, yeah, probably consumption-based taxation, which a huge part of my population really wants. Alright, phew, that actually was pretty steep now. It was lucky, 20% chance, and it actually was successful this time. And with that, the age of isolation is over. So we are no longer isolated. We are no longer having an isolated market. We can now finally go into the market business and have exports and imports. This is another major milestone after the Shogunate downfall. With this one, we have now open markets. We're opening up to the world, and that's pretty important. Now with that, we might actually go for the consumption-based taxation. The problem with that is once enacted, I do lose 55,000 in revenue from my current tax system, which is devastating. I can't allow this to happen at this point. We don't have enough people for that. At the moment, it seems. The land-based is great. I wanted to go for the per capita taxation or proportional taxation at some point now. For that, however, we need to get rid of traditionalism and go in the economic system. So we would need to get interventionism or agrarianism at least, right? But away from this one at the very least. Now, since per capita taxation is also something that most of my people would endorse, and it actually gives me a tiny weeny bit in addition of revenue, proportional taxation would be a loss here, and a graduated taxation as well. Per capita is still fine. We still need to get rid of traditionalism though, and that would be another major step forward here. We have the agrarianism, so we can subsidize ranches, or we can also subsidize all buildings. We get another 50% private construction allocation. However, interventionism is not something that I could probably push that much. The landowners would actually oppose this, the only ones. A trade union, industrialists would like it a lot, so we would get their bonus right away. Agrarianism is supported by the high min. Oh, that would be not so bad because we're already pretty low on that. We would still get the bonus from the industrialists, and we would still also get a bonus for the trade unionists. So I think agrarianism is the way to go right now. I mean, it's aristocrats in the investment pool. That's also bad. Let's try interventionism. Only the landowners would disapprove of that, but other than that, this is actually something that we might be able to push, and we do get at least the manufacturing tax income from the industrialists. British investments. Robert Peel, a wealthy and powerful industrialist from Great Britain, sees Empire of Japan as a lucrative and untapped market. In exchange for various political favors to be redeemed at an unspecified point in time, Robert Peel is willing to share with us the industrial technology of his homeland. 100% technology spread for 2 years. We would get an obligation to Great Britain. I think this is still, it could be, of course it's a trap. It's a trap, of course. Let's not do it. I don't want to have any obligations, really. We could be pushed into a war or something. There once again for the revolution. An attempt on the life of the emperor has killed many but spared our ruler. A complex device, itself damaged in the attack, is the only trace of the revolutionary left at the site. Public appearance, no public appearances for a while. Or this crime is obviously the fault of Oku. And Oku is petite bourgeoisie. Alright, 33% chance that the civil war gets reduced or it gets powered. Of course I had the powered one. Luck is never on my side when it comes to these things. I would like to try my chances from time to time. Amidst all of this, the Bathman process has been finished, so that's really good then for the steel mills. I'm going with that, perfect. Let's have a look a bit more into, I think we should be going for more society tech. Nationalism doesn't sound so bad. It's rather quickly finished and gives me some 10% authority right away. And then we probably can go also for, psychiatry for the bureaucracy cost multiplier reduction. This revolution thingy. It's hurting me at this point. Also, this law taking too long again. Alright, it actually got reduced there again by 10%. And the intelligentsia have written a manifesto demanding the government making certain concessions in order to protect the public welfare. They make a strong case. They do gain some bonuses. We also give them, yeah, political strength and interest group approval. And, oh no, why should I go with the other ones? They make a strong case for concessions. Now, we could also start with some basic export traits. So dye, for example, is something that we produce in surpluses, and that's going to be for quite some time. The American market is interested in that. So we can actually get a nice productivity out of this one here after the tariffs and export a few of them as well. We got still 1,600 convoys available. So we should really tap that potential there a bit. We also get some weapons to the Mexican market. All right, I don't need weapons for now. Meat we have, tools we have, tea we have. No one likes tea really, no, at least not for profit. Iron we have a bit. That's too high volumes. Peppers, gold. That would be interesting. We, interestingly enough, have some oil here. I'm not going with that. Silk, that is definitely something. British market likes that. Let's give it to them. A group of women affiliated with the Shinto monks in Hokkaido have founded an organization with the purpose of arranging medical and material support for anti-government revolutionaries. We cannot afford this or crack down on women's religious organizations. Oh, both of them are bad. At least this gives me only 5% more civil war, but state penalties from turmoil is increased for Hokkaido. That's okay. And prominent members, outspoken intervention and close allies. What? Oh, supporters, yeah, okay. Have been exposed to in a corruption scandal. It really, this is all against us. We can derive some benefit from that. We get the benefits of corruption. Alright, but we would lose 2% bureaucracy. Alright, we can do this. Problem really is bureaucracy is down pretty hard right now. I need to build, I think, a few more government administrations. Do we not have a new mode that we could go here with? Holy cow, we do! The standardized filing system, of course. And this is super important, and I totally forgot about it. This one increases my paper consumption. Alright, paper will be quite valuable after this. It will be gold. But it gives me 2,600 bureaucracy and 600 taxation capacity. And it's a huge step forward in everything that's important for the future. Let's have this one. And I think we just need to get more paper in. Yep, Central Archives was also with that successfully established. That is the journal entry that we had. And the use of filing cabinets in the government administration has drastically increased the effectiveness of bureaucracy. I love it. Yep. And we get 5% additional bureaucracy in the next 5 years. Alright, paper though it is. We already have some paper industry in some areas, so I would like to expand on that. The cool thing about paper industry also on top of it is it gives me then also some urbanization in addition and some more, yeah, employment ratings over there. Here I could go for some paper industry. We also have the logging camps in Shikoku, right? And also here the logging camps. All very important. Since we do need a huge amount of paper now for my government administration, more than I anticipated, we also need to change the production method for my paper mills to sulfide pulping. This one increases my paper output, however, it needs sulfur. That is something we actually don't have yet, so we do need to find us some sulfur mines, and I think I found them somewhere down here. Yep, there it is in Shogoku. There would be some sulfur mines available, so let's go ahead and push them. And let's also give them the atmospheric pump, right? So with that we actually, yeah, stabilize the price for sulfur there a bit at the cost of some coal and tools, which we have plentiful. So with that we should stabilize those things a bit around. A doctor in Chubu has been called aiding wounded dissidents and revolutionaries. His aid isn't just helping his patients, but it's emboldening the entire rebel movement. Alright, academic pops become more radical in the whole of Japan or in Chubu only. How many academics do we have in Chubu? It's 8,000. Alright, let's go ahead and do this. This gives me some reduction there in in the revolution. So this is not really putting up more momentum, right? So it's kind of like staying there stagnant for quite some time. We are negative right now. Reason for that is goods for government buildings is 38,000. Yes, that's the, you name it, the government administration, because the lack of paper is there and it's so costly right now, and we, holy cow, need a lot of paper for my government. So it's super important that we finish those paper mills with the latest method that we have done. And urban. I should have more, right? So I could change it for the whole industry. Yeah, it does change it, though of course it skyrockets my sulfur there a bit. Where's my biggest paper factory? Yeah, it's in Shogoku. We're making some profit here still. That's the great thing about it. However, sulfur is a problem now, so we need to get that price here down. So let's actually get rid of the paper mill production there and switch to sulfurs, because that's super important. Alright, unfortunately the law failed. In that case, I cannot enact it now for quite some time, so not again right away. So I'm not going... we could wait 22 months before we enact it again, though the chance for this is much lower now. There's still the chance for agrarianism, and the Haimin actually would endorse this. It's not super nice short-term wise, because yeah, interventionism would be the better one long-term wise. But for now, we can go ahead with this and actually make the Haimin like us a bit more again, right? So we actually deactivate their negative trade on us, and with that get hopefully a nice booster out for a fort in a sea of anger. So this is just once again for the pops, and yeah, we can reduce the revolution chance with that. Of course not. Of course not. Alright, approval rating is going up here. Manufacturing taxes are coming in more. Perfect. Please, we need a new law there. I can't just work on nothing there. Alright, Great Britain wishes to enter a trade agreement with us. I think we can actually go ahead with that. Great Britain is one of the biggest markets, and it will definitely help us with getting better contracts out there. Another very interesting development right now is that railways are being privately built throughout the country, so I don't need to worry about it myself with my own construction sector. And this should actually lead to a bigger industrialization. Yep, we're at 30% now here, because we have now in almost every province at least a level 5 urban center, and the railways are being finished then across the empire as well. So the restoration of the industrialization is continuing here. Retire the samurai. There is only one more option that we need here. That's are not part of the government, and then the retire the samurai is gone, and the fall of the samurai would be enacted with that. And this is actually something I would like to push now. Perhaps it also changes the dynamic a bit of my of my revolutionary tidings here. Problem with that is the samurai really want to stay in power right now. How can we do this? We have a samurai emperor right now. That's the biggest problem to me. And yeah, we probably need to keep him there. So let's... I think we can't do that, because yep, we are actually currently in a revolution. The biggest problem right now is that I can't enact any laws, even with a success chance of 45%. It failed 3 times in a row now with 2 setbacks, and it's just not possible for me, due to some very bad luck, I think, to enact any new laws. Finally, after a while, agrarianism has successfully, well, somehow progressed to the next stage consideration. And what we now need to do is, yeah, opening up a new industry that it's better to start now than later. For that, I would like to have a look at some urban centers where, first of all, where we don't have a railway yet, because we can, of course, also start with that. We are importing engines right now from the outside. I think, though, this is not totally fine. So long-term wise, I'm working towards engines now as well. For that, we do need a steel industry first. Now, we have a lot of iron and a lot of coal, and we can definitely realize that. But it should be in an area where there is low urbanization. It's definitely not going to be Chicago, because, let's face it, there is basically almost nothing here. Infrastructure capacity is there, though. That is something that is tempting. Kyushu would also be possible. We have the coal mine. Let's go with Kyushu. I'm actually going with Kyushu. We still have a lot of infrastructure in the area, and we have a lot of workforce here. So steel mills it is, and let's start with 2 of them right away. So we can start with the steel production, which is 0 at the moment in Japan. With that, we can then change a whole bunch of work modes around that also lead to more tools production, more wood production, and ultimately the engine production. That's something that I would like to go now. And mobs have surrounded an arsenal in Kansai, threatening to seize the arms and munitions stored within, while the guards are staving off attacks for now. If no relief is sent, then the arsenal will fall to the insurrectionists. And progress to civil war is reduced here with a very high chance. A few more radicals we get. But at this point, it doesn't really matter that much. Now, I'm still pushing the law agrarianism. We're still in the process of trying this. We need to. It's the only path forward if we want to go for proper taxation and also better rights for the workers. We need to get away from traditionalism, and it's also one of our major goals that we have, right? The end of Sakoku. So does not have traditionalism enacted anymore. The retire the samurai, that's something we can't do right now because I cannot throw the samurai out of the government while there is a revolutionary movement going on. And industrialization of Japan is still progressing fairly quickly, so we're at 40% here. So I'm fairly confident we can finish all 3 restoration missions pretty soon. Urbanization of Japan is also coming along really well. We're at 60% out of the 75% that we need. And also we just need a building then with a level 10 in an urban center, like a university, for example. So this is also not so bad. Yeah, if it weren't for the revolutions, that is, right? And in that case, they are extreme. It's an extreme political movement here. It also leads to a lot of radicalization because of this consumption-based taxation. Now, don't get me wrong. Once we have consumption-based taxation, we probably go bankrupt for good. I don't think we could survive it. I think what we could try is we could amass a bit of more gold, so that once we're forced to enact this one here, we can survive perhaps a year or 2. In that year, we would need to switch then right away to the other taxation system that we have, right? So the land-based one, away from agrarianism. Then once we have this enacted, of course, that's the major thing here. So I'm still hoping for something here that we can fight this for good. Revolution-wise, we could still win this revolution too, right? Let's go ahead and also improve or, yeah, train a few more soldiers, I think. So we have these skirmish infantries right now. With the line infantry, we got some artillery, don't really have artillery input. We have the weapons, right? And we can go ahead with, oops, nope, not here, not in Hokkaido, please. Let's get rid of that again. But once again, not in Kansai anymore. This is also something we actually need to change because right now we have, of course, the capital is now in Edo, right? So down here, this is my capital. So if we have a revolution breaking out in Kansai, actually, those soldiers will join, right? So most of them will then join. We could also check it out. Petite bourgeoisie, Haimin. We do also have the wrong generals here, so we would need to change that. Let's get one intelligentsia in. He's reserved. And I will also throw this guy out there, right? Because I really, really don't want to have... I can't do that. They're not insurrectionary. So right now I will not be able to do this. I was hoping that we could actually move him out. Oh, this is pretty cool. The modern sewage has been resourced and unlocked. With that is the creation of specific tunnels and pipes to remove refuse from a city, leading to a better standard of living. And this has massive effects. It increases my construction capacity, construction sector level, max level that we have, and also it gives me more infrastructure per population that we have. Very cool and important one that we have. All right, let the procession go ahead. A good chance that, yeah, we kind of like tone it down on the revolution again. If we just let them march, that's fine. You can do this. Next up, water tube boiler would be my go-to here. This once again unlocks new work modes then for my factories. One thing I should check out though is we have finished it already, so I can go ahead with it, right? Because we have the atmospheric engine, and there was the event that we finished. It would actually disband, or it would actually, well, can't be cancelled when we go for the water tube boiler, but we can do this now safely. Alright, come on. We got 35% enactment chance here now. And of course it was not successful. It's another setback that we get out of this one here. Lawmakers working towards the enactment of agrarianism have found themselves mired in a particularly complex set of bureaucratic proceedings, grinding the work towards reform to a new halt. And enactment time gets increased, or we also get just enactment time increased, we also gain some more bureaucracy, and bureaucrats in Kanto become more, radical. It's not that many though that we would get out of this. Major change, since the Haimin do like us a bit now, with approval rating of +6, they left the enact consumption-based taxation. That means the revolution lost a lot of steel there, or steam, with only the petite bourgeoisie now in the way here. So there is of course also a chance I could make him a bit happier, so getting him into the army would make, here's by the way kidney stones, is a constant excruciating pain. That's probably why he's so angry. And they are they're not very big though, right? This cloud here, it's only 14% and it's only 240,000 people. So yeah, this actually was a major shift for us, that the revolution might actually not be as severe as we think right now. That's a pretty great thing. Fieldworks, army defense modifier, thank you very much. That was out of inspiration. Since the Haimin left, I would like to do something risky in order to get things moving again here, and I would like to put them in the government and only them, right? It's the only option we have right now. The samurai would get a bit more legitimacy out of that, but other than that, that's it, right? The monks perhaps together, but I think, no, they're not working well together, right? So with the Haimin, it's an illegitimate government for now, but only for a short time. What we finish right away though is the end of the samurai, and I would like to go ahead with this. And this actually finishes one of the missions. Restoration, retire the samurai completed. And with that, the fall of the samurai Japan has succeeded in reforming the armed forces and putting an end to the backward system of feudalism. The samurai warrior caste seemingly no longer have a place within our modernizing society. Let them keep their status as officers and nobles. We do actually lose military research. And the era is over. The interest group will be reorganized into the armed forces. 80% of Japanese officer pops in Empire Japan become radical. So this is, of course, coming at a cost as well. And I guess Soroku Nabeshima is going to commit seppuku. That's what you should do as a samurai. He's liked, actually. That's a problem. Might be a problem for us. We do get a few more officer radicalization, but it's really a tiny, tiny fraction of our population. So the end of the samurai is over. We didn't even gain any radicals with that. And this is the end, really. I think we still have them, though, as armed forces now, right? So that's a new government here now. We can get them in again. This would make them... this would at least give me an unacceptable government again. It's not an illegitimate, though. And there's really nothing, no other combination I could do here, right? A bit of a problem with the industrialists. We would still have unacceptable, but the industrialists at least are supporting a few laws that I would like. So with that, we have now the industrialists in the government and the armed forces, and the samurai are gone. And this is a major step forward in our Komei restoration. We have finished that step now. It was risky, but I think it comes without any additional revolutionary tendencies here. That's the important thing. With that, we are also now at 45% enactment chance again, because my government is more legitimate now. Very good. Agrarianism has moved to the adoption phase, and I'm confident that we can actually finish this soon now. And there it is, also the water tube boiler for my paper mills, steel mills, my motor industry. This is going to be pretty important, and also unlocks the condensed engine pumps for my mines. And with that, we can go ahead. Where do we have high mining? For example, here, of course, in Tohoku, we have a 37, and we can go ahead and go for the condensed diesel engine, condensing engine pump, actually, sorry. And this one increases my tool consumption, my coal consumption, which are still staying rather stable on the price, but it would output way more iron than before the 740. And the problem with that is, of course, as we can also see, the price for iron on the market will go down and even lower. That means those mines will probably not be, profitable anymore, right? So we need to keep this profitable somehow. So I could try to get my construction capacity up so we consume more iron. I could also try and build more mills, like the steel mills, where we have a level 2 now for the basic steel production that we have now enabled. This is very important because of the of the engines we need to build then soon. I still need to wait for some more vacancies here to be filled though. We could already change this for, yeah, a bit more iron, produces more steel. That's definitely fine for me because iron, we need to kind of keep the demand up there somehow. Also had reports from every pirate and public arm in Kansai have set the government against itself. Tokugawa has a simple demand, hand over government to the people. What? And we must replace these reports. Change of the okay. Tokugawa gets the trade arrogant. That's not so bad. Petite bourgeoisie. Arrogant actually gives him a lesser legitimacy. And we would lose some bureaucracy. And we get the urban center attack. Oh, this is not good. It ought to be a charge with fraud. Let's go ahead with that. Alright, a new research. We do have a lot of stuff open here now. Thanks to the university. It doesn't take that long for these. We also still have the canneries and the crystal glass here that would lead to the mechanized workshops then. That's actually pretty important. So I would like to go ahead with the crystal glass. It only takes me a couple of months really to finish this. And then I might actually go with the corporate charters. This would unlock the companies that will need to boost our economy. So let's go ahead and also get the corporate charter on its way now. With that, it only takes a couple of months really. So nothing of that would really take years or so. We're at 50% enactment chance. I still have low hopes for this. And there it is. Finally, the peasant revolt is upon us. A revolution has started. And we'll just see how it goes. I think it's not going to go so well, right? So we have our troops here with 10 battalions available right now. And hopefully we are mobilizing them, of course, right away. Even though we don't need to do this in the opening phase, but I'm pretty sure we're going to war with them. And they have no soldiers at the moment available. So none of the battalions joined them, actually, I think. This is a good thing for us. The law enactment still continues there, so 50% chance. I mean, not that the game gives me any favors, so this might work out for us or not. Rather not, right? I mean, 50%. Why should it be successful? We lose some. A visiting dignitary from France has been murdered in either restaurant. It is suspected that this was an attempt to sabotage a trade agreement that would bring Empire of Japan out of its isolated state. We must get to the bottom of this. 20% enactment time increase. And more political movement reduction though. Because they get the murder investigation. This is not so bad. Convict a law student as a scapegoat. We would lose some relationship with France, which is not bad, honestly. So we don't really have anything with them right now. So it wouldn't do that much. And Empire of Japan gets the legal scapegoat. That's actually 10% enactment chance increase. I'm going with that. We need to be a bit ruthless here. Poor law student. And that's okay. Alrighty, we are moving towards war. That's going to be fine. So this will once and for all end this revolutionary movement. Also, the radicals have dropped massively by 5 million with that. Because most of them, don't like wars. And we should crush them quickly. I'm speeding up time here real quick because there's not that much we can do right now. I could, of course, go for some construction. We don't have a lot of capacity since half of Japan is now at revolution again with us. And we are now in the escalation phase. So this is going to start now. And then my troops should hopefully also... Yep, they're fully mobilized. So we can use them now along the front line then. Deploy to the front. There it is. And it should start now. There it is. We're at war. To arms. Off you go. My troops should arrive. There they are. And we are now entering our own territory, so to speak. It's just lovely, really. If you look at closely there, the graphics are beautiful, really detailed. Some trainees, and some soldiers slaughtering everyone in their way. Hopefully not too many. With 60% chance now that this is also getting successful. I'm still having my doubts, of course. And we're moving through the country there. Radical Empire of Japan has been almost fully conquered now, once more. I don't think we have a lot of casualties. Only 2% at this point here. There's some minor fighting going down here. And I think up there we have everything anyway under control. And with that, yeah, probably over then really quickly. The same goes hopefully with the law enactment. And then things should actually look a bit better again for us. 60% chance law adoption to finally end traditionalism. And we're continuing to advance. Holy cow. Holy cow, we have it. It's done. Right. We are closing in on traditionalism, so it's gone. And yeah, agrarianism, of course, is not my major favorite thingy here, right? But that's it. That's about as far as we can go to finally end this one. And with that, we also, that's pretty important here, continue onwards on our restoration. So we have now not have traditional enacted anymore. So the other thing is then the closed border, that the law that we have right now. And this will be probably also a bit more difficult to control here. So the Haimin actually oppose this one strongly. Yeah, a lot of people do. So this would be a long process there once more. But of course, we can get to this point sooner or later. Right now, we need to win the war. That's the important thing. I think we're still fighting there in some lower areas there. Russia damaging relationships. That's not so bad. Let's actually improve it with RAM. And how's it looking with Spain there right now? They're reputable. They're cautious towards us. We could also improve our relation with them a bit. We have still enough influence to do this as well. They're losing momentum now. I think down here, this is actually fine. And yeah, we just need to wait it out now for them to really lose the morale completely. And then we can finally look towards economic advancement again. There's the capitulation. And with that, Radical Japan is once again part of our Japan. We are once again united. And the movement is gone now. So in that case here, hopefully we continue now towards a more prosperous future again. And with that, we still have some devastation that we need to fight. That's okay. It's going away now eventually. One of the new laws I would definitely like to push now is the public schools. So this one here has a pretty good chance that it gets successful. It's also being endorsed by the major powers of my area. Only the Shinto monks would oppose this one, so I don't expect a lot of damage here. We do, however, also get a load of bonuses for the intelligentsia that would endorse this, the trade unions and the industrialists. We would lower radicalization with that, and we will also get a few more bonuses in. Plus, also we get a new institution then. So let's start the enactment process. And the most prominent members of Kansai high society have been seen organizing luxurious parties in the new and lavish urban buildings. Oh, look at that, all the bonuses. Let them celebrate. And yeah, the upper and middle strata become more loyalist, and also 10% of them, right? And radicals continue to drop now, and loyalists continues to climb again. So this is all very good now for us. Looking towards our economy, it's in shambles after all of this, and it's going to take a while for this to pick up again. One thing I could try is to lower my construction material costs there further. That's the iron and wood. However, we should also, start the market there again a bit. We do need more clothes for sure. This should not increase the price. We also have more wheat that we need, and grocers once more. Plus, I would like to work a bit more on engines, right? Since we have some basic steel production, I would also like to go ahead with the motor industry now that we can start. I would like to do this in Tohoku because we already have the steel mills here as well. And then we should also go a bit into fertilizing. So this is where, I do have probably in Shikoku, right? This would actually be a good area. Think for it. We got the workforce here. Let's start with the fertilizing industry. There it is, fertilizer plant. This will make it possible to boost my farms more. So those two I definitely want to push out there now. And with a new university, we also finished the philosophy department. That was another journal that we had. And we have secured funding for philosophy departments in all of our institutions of higher learning. The University of Kanto has chosen to focus this funding on advancing Hegelian dialects. And we get a 25% university building throughput for 5 years. Thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. Very good. That's that. Now, economy-wise, we're very stable again. I'm happy to report. We actually can live on medium taxes for now. I've also increased the military budget to the highest again. This doesn't really cost me anything because we don't have a big military, but it is improving the armed forces approval rating significantly. And with that, we also have a very good legitimate government now because basically when everyone is happy with us right now, so this is fine. It's all coming back again, hopefully. And the GDP is continuing to grow after a massive dip. You can see the 2 dips of revolution that we had in our history now. Had massive effects, of course, because we were separated or, put into half. And now we're, having a steep growth right now. I'm also building more construction sectors. Some are destroyed in the industry. So in that case here, more capacity we need again. Plus we can afford it. We also need a few more government administrations to get the bureaucracy back on track. And also reduce tax waste because at this point we actually get some decent taxation out. Some textile mills we need for my population because we are rather low on that. And I would really like to push a few more government or construction sectors then as well here. And we have public schools. It was that easy this time. That law was really smooth, and with that we get education access and assimilation on top of everything. We could go ahead with the next law right away. Of course we want to. And I would like to use the momentum we have right now to go for the per capita taxation. This is a really important step forward. Not only do we get more taxes out of it, but my most important interest groups like this one. We get endorsements on 4 of them and only 2 of them disagree. That's the landowners. They have a really important clout though, right? We would lose their approval rating there quite a bit. And the trade unions that are marginalized, they really don't care it, but I don't care about them. The other ones like it. We do get some additional bonuses there, and I think this is also going to go smoothly, even though we do have quite the opposition there, honestly, that is coming with this as well. So we'll just see how this goes. Chance of success should be pretty high overall. Building wise, 95 we have. This we finish there quickly. We're full on the gold reserve right now. I need to get a bit negative there again to use that gold that we have for investments. That's one government construction sector, so we definitely need to breach the 100 again, and then I would like to push towards 120 on construction. So from now on, we should have a very steep growth rating overall that I'm expecting there, of course. Alright, of course, the Shogunate, or the old Shogunate, the landowners don't like it so much. Their support is though minimal, and we also have basically no radicals at this point, so that's something we can live off. Very good so far. That was very turbulent times behind us now. That's very turbulent times behind us, and hopefully we continue towards a very prosperous future. With that, we've also gotten rid of all the old ways, right? The samurai gone, the shogunate is gone, and traditionalism has been abolished. And with that, very important milestone appears, and that's Russia. Russia actually turned belligerent overnight towards us, so we're a target of conquest for them. We have, well, a rather weak military after all of the past here, and they have a strategic desire, especially for my Sakhalin island up here, right? And yeah, what can we do about that? First of all, pushing more military, of course, and the other one is finding allies. We have Great Britain here that is genial towards us, so really good relationship, and we could form a defensive pact. Not really. What should we do if we want to go ahead with this? Their acceptance score is at 65 right now. The power projection is too high, and the British rank of a greater power compared to our rank of unrecognized. So this is all against us. We could join a customs union with them. This is another step forward. We have a rather weak market in comparison. The United States of America actually have a protective attitude towards us, so they want to protect us. This probably helps us out a bit. And let's continue with the pushing of my military. There's nothing else we could really do right now with Russia. There is right now a diplomatic play against them in Alaska, so that should hopefully help us out a bit. Law progressed to consideration. Perfect. This is coming along. Oh, gold depleted in Hokkaido. Gold has been depleted in Hokkaido. The state region can now support fewer gold fields. And the rich mineral deposits in Hokkaido have been drained. Mines are being shuttered, and all the prospectors have moved in, are beginning to drift away in search for the next big strike. Hokkaido gets migration attraction reduction, and a few of them become more radical. we are going with the basic one there. We still only have 100 people, 100,000 there. It is still growing, right? But Hokkaido remains a very weak market to us overall for the time being. We could push, but nah, it's not worth it when we have so much potential somewhere else. The motor industry is up and running. This is pretty important. And, oh, inefficient agriculture. Substance farm Kansai stating that their undeniable inefficiency should be immediately addressed. We could get more farmers in. This would increase the migration attraction. Or we just say, no, this serves the purpose. We would lose one interest with the industrialists. I think we're still fine with that, right? Yeah. Go ahead. I don't want to have more radicals in Kansai especially. And that would lead to more instability in the region. 71% chance of enactment per capita now for my new law. That's important. We are also positive on the bureaucracy again. One more government administration I would like to build, and then some lead mines. We're starting with that. That's the first one. Another construction sector, and then barracks, right? And there it is. Also, oh, two important things happen at the same time. So first of all, per capita taxation has been enabled now. With that, we base our taxation not on land, but on the income and the consumption. And this is actually giving me a nice boost there also in taxation by 7,000 as well. A very important step forward. And corporate charters, with that we have now unlocked companies whose assets and incomes are separate from that of their owners and investors, thereby mitigating personal risk while encouraging entrepreneurship. Very good. That's going to be very important to us. Before we go for companies, let's just go ahead and have a look. Presidential Republic is still a bit too far away. The landowners would not like this, and the Shintomoks would get radicalized by that, so definitely not something I could focus on right now. What is actually possible now finally is also getting rid of closed borders. After this small amount or small time of stability, we have enough support rating here that most people would endorse the migration control, and with that we would end the era of closed borders. Another major step forward, so let's go ahead with this. Dutch investments. Casimir, a wealthy and powerful industrialist from the Netherlands, sees Empire of Japan as a lucrative and untapped market in exchange for various political favors to be redeemed at an unspecified point in time. Oh yeah, that sounds nice. We do get the obligation to the Netherlands, but we would get 100% technology spread for production. I think we can actually go ahead with this. The Netherlands are also not someone that... I mean, they're belligerent towards us, is that right? Yes, they are also belligerent. I mean, not that I really care about the Netherlands at all. But I do care about the technology spread. Let's go ahead and do this. Trade agreement from the United States. I would like to go ahead with this. Sounds about right. By the way, we should check out our trade routes there from time to time. We do have a nice surplus of tea right now. It might lead to some exports. No, unfortunately not. Import-wise, I could also then have a look. Silk. The French market has a profitable silk export we can go ahead with right now. And some dyes perhaps. Yeah, the Mexican market is very lucrative for dyes. And import-wise, I could check it out for groceries. Nah, not really. More wood, so that I save actually some wood building. But nope, there's nothing really profitable here for us. Grocery-wise, American market now. We can go ahead with a minor grocery trade route. And relatively quickly, we do have 155 construction capacity. That means we can build up to 5 buildings at the same time in the queue. Some of them are faster, some of them are slower, depending on their level. We're finishing also now a railway in Jubu and then a railway in Shikoku. Oh, there it is. Migration controls has been finished. And with that, the age of closed borders is gone, and restoration and Sakoko was successfully completed as well. This is another major journal entry. And with that, only the restoration industrialization of Japan is open. Komai restoration would be enabled with this. Triggers a renewed Japan, which gives you then some hefty boosts that we are going to need. So for this, we still need now urban center level 5 and railway in almost all of my states. One of them is Shikoku that is missing right now. So here we still only have an urban center level 4. So this is something we're working on right now by building another university, a government administration, and also then the railway down here. All of this leads to more urbanization and probably then to an upgrade. Urbanization level 6 we have here, and a railway we have as well. We also need to make sure that these railways are operational, of course. That means we need to have at least the engines coming in. The motor industry here is already working at a profit too. That's great stuff. How's it looking with my balance there on the engines? A slight deficit right now, but still fine, right? I might actually push this one up by one more. And also steel, the price of steel is not so bad at the moment. So this is working at a profit. The only problem is, of course, vacancies. So I do need to promote the social mobility so that this is getting fixed a bit faster overall with the bit of authority that I still have. So this is looking lovely. Now, new laws we could go for. Now, next up, I would like to go with a distribution of power. So there's really a lot of fundamental changes here. So autocracy we still have. This gives me a lot of authority and legitimacy based on the government's clout. However, it also gives a lot of political strength to aristocrats, and we want to get rid of that. Also, we got a very strong movement towards the landed voting here now. This reduces my authority a bit, but it increases my legitimacy. The better legitimate a government is, the more effective it is. It also gives more political strength to clergymen, officers, and especially also capitalists. This is something I would like. Also, with that, we can unlock the women's suffrage law. That is another major milestone forward then in my journal list that we have. It's the highest chance right now, the landed voting. Technocracy is also not so bad, I think. Would also have a good chance here. Yeah, and a lot of people would endorse it. It would radicalize the landowners though. I think with the land-based voting, it's not radicalizing anyone, right? Some of them are opposed to that, but it would not change the power here, the power structures too much. So I think landed voting is my go-to. Yeah, for now, right? So we always need to move one step forward there, not two. Two would be too much. So with that, let's go ahead, and this is a very high chance that this is just getting enacted. And with that, we can also end then the absolute empire status, so that we're changing then governments based on voting. Yeah, which I'm also looking forward to. So that's something. By the way, we have a new institution here, and that's the education. This is also another one of my major journal entries, right? That we have the Terracoya system. And for this here to finish, we do need a education investment level of 3. So in that case, we do need 700 more bureaucracy. So I need to build this up a bit further, right? More government administrations, but the path to that is forward now. It's open to us, the path. We have now options here to do, and for that I just need some more government administrations. We do need some more levels in some provinces anyway. We should move at a caution with this one though, because it increases everything here, increases then my government expenses once again, the wages that we have, right? So we need to be careful how we want to tackle this. There's also unfortunately no new work mode for now. The telephone switchboard later on would be pretty powerful, but that's an invention far in the future. Technology wise, I think we don't have an active research right now. We just finished one. So yeah, production wise, there's a few more things, and all of them are rather quick. Dynamite would boost my output of mines significantly. That's something I could like to go for. Shift works, economic scale, we don't need that right now. I think we don't need anything here. Usually I don't like the military stuff too much there, so this is actually steel frame buildings is very, very tempting, because with that we can boost our construction sector once more. And quinine is something that I need if I want to colonize more areas. Psychiatry, yes, let's go ahead with this for now. It's a very quick research. It gives me some yeah, bureaucracy booster again. And then we have the egalitarianism, and minimum expected standard of living increases, max social security institution goes up, and it also leads to more laws in the universal suffrage and also proportional taxation. So let's actually go for psychiatry and then egalitarianism, two very important steps forward there as well. Now this leads me now to companies. Finally, also something that's a new feature. That's something we need to tackle now. We have a license to build one company, and we do have 9 available right now that we can establish, with many more down here down the road. All of these companies can only be built when a certain requirement has been met. So in this case here, for example, for the Empire of Japan Forestry Syndicate, we would need to have a pretty high level of logging camps in the area or in Japan, which we have now. So this has been tackled here. Oh, psychiatry. Bureaucracy reduction from population cost multiplier and another 10% influence. That's all rather nice. And then we have, for example, also the Hokkaido Gold. yeah, that's something we probably should not establish anymore. Hokkaido Gold is a thing of the past. Empire of Japan metals we have here, that is something we can go ahead with. And all of them have different bonuses, right? So the steel mills building throughput here, for example, that we can go ahead with. There we have 5% birth rate for the Kanto premium foods. Sounds nice originally, not so super nice right now. The birth rate is already pretty high. Also, I don't want to get too many people in because that would raise unemployment rates. So that's a tricky beast here. What I like is the Tohoku paper factory, or well, company. This one actually gives me 10% bureaucracy boost. Activates on 100 prosperity. Right now, productivity is not super high for it. It would not increase prosperity because paper is not that profitable right now, which is strange. We do consume a lot of paper. We would need to get profitability up there first for these here, right? So there's lots of different stuff. State construction efficiency with the Empire of Japan Steel Company. This one would be activated and the prosperity is also there, right? So this is something that we might actually push. So let's establish our first company, and that's the Japan Steel Company. That's something we're going to need then. Yeah, it's going to be active now. We can research a second company pretty soon, right? And this one is now increasing its prosperity and will also give me then the state construction efficiency on top of that. Next on this is then probably, yeah, probably my food company that we have, or my prestige. Yeah, we could also go with Empire of Japan Orchard Fellowship that gives 10% prestige, which is quite significant. But making vineyards profitable is also not that easy. It's a challenge of its own. All right, 90% chance for the land voting to get into adoption. So this is something that should definitely be fixed now. We're at 60% out of the 70 that we need for the restoration industrialization. Railway and level 5. Oh, Shikoku still is level 4. This is probably the tipping point here then, right? So we have the railway. We could subsidize it to make it profitable and working for us. For now, right? Doesn't cost me that much. And I do really want to get that urbanization done. So let's go ahead with another government administration. And another level 1 university. And we could also go for... we're already building the paper mills. This is leading to urbanization anyway. And I think tools, we really don't need that much right now. I could still boost my tools further with the steel tools, but this would consume then steel. It's surprising to me that it's still profitable actually, but not something I need right now. For a bit of coal, we can reduce the employment rate. That is something I would like to do for the tool workshops there. Fertilizer plant actually still needs more jobs before we can really fully use this. Market balance of fertilizer at 78 anyway. So actually, let's just quickly check it out. Can we already fertilize the rice farms? That would cost me 560 in addition. Not all of them, right? So we can go ahead and do it slowly. Very good adoption phase we are. So with 160 fertilizers, we could get 320 more grain out. Also not good. Let's start really small. That's a good one here for Kansai, right? Boosting my grain output there a bit. Let's also boost the rice farm here for Kansai. We really don't need to build that many plantations because with fertilization we can really boost the output to supply the whole market there. So it's not that bad of a thing. Still, we need more fertilizers on the market, first of all. Yeah, textile mills make profit. That's great stuff. We have the sewing machines now. That's a new one. If I change it to this... yeah, I think it will lead to a more profitable business. Also, more output for the clothes, which we need. That's a good change here. And we now have landed voting. With that, we get new parties. The Agrarian Party, Imperial Rule Party, Constitutional Reform Party. And yeah, we are shifting political power now also a bit towards the capitalists. We get a bit of legitimacy. And we are now having a new flag. That's also great. And with that, we have a real government that is getting voted, right? And that should lead then to also more legitimacy. Let's just have a look at that. Right now, we are at 49. And yeah, I think the first votes will be coming in then at some point. Very good, that is. The election is coming along, as we can see. And who's winning right now? The Agrarian Party would be winning. And that's the Haimin that can do this. Followed by the Imperial Rule Party, that's the landowners. Another one now, church and state. That is something, that is an easy law that we can do. We just boost now, the endorsement rating of some of my parties there. That's basically total separation we have. That will be successful, and that's just another step forward there. That's fine. So yeah, it's another law so that we can actually go ahead with some new laws, because there is no other important law that I would like to go for right now. And yeah, I'm still waiting now on this urban level 5 in Shikoku, because then we should actually have finished that very long-term goal here, the Komai restoration. And there's still some construction now ongoing for this. By the way, we got 500 bureaucratic power. This leads me to now be able to, go ahead with a level 2 education that I would like to enact. It will cost me some additional power, but that's going to be fine, because with that we are on our way also here to level 3 on the education. Shikoku has level 5. We have another step. I think we should actually finish it, no? Yeah, it's at 70%. What's going on here? More than 70%. Currently 70%. Building is urban center, greater than 5, and has a railway. It should actually be ticked now. And the first election is over. The Haimin won. We have a new government here now with a very high rating there actually. That's as high as it can go for quite some time now. If I reform the government myself, we would actually get a lower legitimacy out of that. Haimin and Intelligentsia are now in the government here with the Agrarian Party and the Constitutional Reform Party. Great stuff indeed. I hope this is pushing my lawmaking there further. It is definitely reducing my radicalization there to very low amounts. My loyalist is climbing, and the GDP is really going up there quickly right now. And the education access is, or the literacy is above 60% now. How's it looking with the institution? Still 25 weeks before this gets enacted then. Alright, other than that, the more influence we get, as you can see, bureaucracy is going down here right now because of the institution increase that we're doing. The problem is, why does this not get ticked now? We are at 70%. Has a railway. This is annoying. I'm also going to build a railway now in Hokkaido. We don't really need it over there, but I think there is just a tiny weeny bit that is actually getting not ticking this now, right? Path to liberalism. This is just the sense of suffrage that is missing now. Then we can actually trigger this event. In the midst of the debate surrounding the total separation, one of the country's leading playwrights strongly associated with the armed forces has staged a widely acclaimed play whose political laden theme makes no secret of the author's desire for the law to be passed. And yeah, we get 10% enactment with that. Then we also get the steam engine time. This is actually something we should do before it runs out. And we need a motor industry with an occupancy greater than 75 and a cash reserve of 25. I think we do have this, no? Motor industry, there it is. Cash reserve goes up. Yeah, the vacancies are the problem here. I already have the social mobility for this. Still, this takes more time than expected. I could actually reduce it by 1. This will boost it a bit, right? Perhaps we can finish it with that. In Tohoku. How's it looking, by the way, with my steam motors? Tiny imbalance there, which is fine. The prices are low for motors right now. There's not much I can do. I'm already using the social mobility. Alright, so far so good. Construction continues. I'm waiting for the railway then in Sakhalin and in Hokkaido. And yeah, a Japan that has changed quite a bit. We have railways, we have industrialized cities, we still have a volcano, we have no more close borders, we have no more samurais, no more shoguns. Lots of things have changed really, and for some of them we are better now than ever, right? Also my economy is climbing here really steeply right now, and also quickly so, of course. We want to increase our rank there a bit now, from now on, so this is coming along. And also we do have a few missions here still that we need to work on. The first one is that we probably will fail, I mean I hope not, but we'll probably fail at this, is the steam engine time. I would love to get this one, the engines of progress. However, the Empire of Japan, we do need the building motor companies with 25% greater cash reserves. We have that. The occupancy though is at 75%. We don't have this, right? So in this case here, I can still do a few things to try it. First of all, we have now leveled up to a level 2 education. This gives me the education access bonus of 20%. That means more education means more qualified workers, means faster qualified workers. The other one is we have the promote social mobility in Tohoku. This is another education access and another especially qualifications access bonus of 25%. This is something once again that we also need here rather steeply because we want to grow this quickly. Also, we have a lot of industry in the area, and I was actually already assigning now the water tube boiler to the paper factory. This reduces the laborers by a total of 10,000, and the same thing we can do with the tools, also the water tube boiler, reducing the laborers by another 10,000. This is of course giving me more workforce again in Tohoku, and this should then lead to more people that then go for here, right? So here we have the laborers. And since we have reduced it by 20,000 in the other factories, I should see a steep shift here for the laborers as well. Though it always works in relation to the mechanists and the engineers. This is a bit of a problem here. So how can we further boost this? How can I increase employment rating? Well, of course, by reducing employment, total employment that we need, but also assigning the water tube boiler to the motor industries. This is reducing the total amount of mechanists and laborers that are required here by 1,500 for a bit of coal. And this is increasing employment rate further, right? So I'm hoping that with that, we can push it a bit now. Also, it should be profitable, the business itself. Right now, we actually have a really good market balance for engines. So I do need more engines to get the price up, right? Other than that, the building would not be profitable. Now it's a bit profitable actually, but it needs to stay profitable to get more workers in. So this is also something that we need. And with that, we are already doing this by getting us more railways out there, because that consumes engines then. Again, rubber mastication, that is for plantations. Law-wise, we are now in the consideration phase for total separation of power with 32%. And not. This afternoon, leader of the armed forces delivered a fiery speech advocating the enactment. We get 15% increase. Perfect. So this is 15% now. Alright, we're also finishing a very important tag here for us, egalitarianism. So this gives me another social security institution investment level and also leads to a few more laws that we're going to need down the road. That's something at least. And also I'm still working on that industrialization. Theoretically, we have passed it all. For some reasons we have not, right? So there's a tiny bit still missing. And I hope with building a few more railways and factories we can actually do this. Because there's no other way I can actually fix it otherwise. Alright, arms is actually fine. We also need a new industry there, by the way, for my military. And that is ammunition. So that is something we don't have yet. And that's a whole new industry, really. The munitions plant. And this one here costs explosives and lead. Now, before we can build this, yeah, well, you might have guessed it, we do need an explosive factory, which in return needs fertilizers and sulfur. Now, we do have down here some sulfur mines. I think both of them have it, yep. And around Kyoto? No, we don't have sulfur, but these two here have it. And we're already producing quite a lot of sulfur, right? The price for that is low. Fertilizers, well, we're not building or producing yet. We do have a fertilizer plant here, though, with which we're doing it. Perfect. So actually, we would have all the requirements. And I think we can go ahead with a nice explosive factory. It's an explosive factory, right? Let's upgrade it to level 2 right away. And with that, we will start explosives. And this is also going to be really important, not only for my weapon production, but especially also for my mines, because we can use then dynamite to significantly boost the output of mines overall. So I would like to really stop building mines now and logging camps, rather use new production methods that we have to boost our output. There it is, a new law, a new tag, a very important one. We could have now the dynamite, so we get higher discovery resource chance for resources, nitroglycerin, and steam donkey, improved fertilizers. Difficult. Where should we go? Yeah, I think safest bet is to join stock companies. With that, we get another company that we can build, right? That's something, but it's only about 25 months, so it's really a short one. We could also go perfect reinforced concrete, a 15% construction sector building throughput. This would be really helpful, especially since all of them are really finished quickly, honestly. So we have the option here. Let's go for the reinforced concrete after that, and then we'll just see where we continue. Paper mill, government administration, Hokkaido right now we're boosting. And then the explosives. And there it is, total separation of power. No church or faith may interfere with government functions. In no religion may be discriminated against. And there we have it. Meiji Restoration has been unlocked. We have done it. Industrialization of Japan was successful. And with that, we have really finished this very long-term goal. And I think the major goal that you can have for Japan, the Komai Restoration completed. And we get the winds of change. Tohoku has come a long way since our attention was first brought to it, going from small houses and scattered farmlands to being on its way to become a blooming metropolis. Finally, Tohoku shines like never before, or this is not the end. We get loyalists from standard of living, alright. Or we get a 33% urban center building throughput. I like this more, honestly. And a renewed Japan, a reformed army, an open and recognized country, a new society. Empire of Japan stands as an equal among the powers of the world and will perhaps begin to pursue imperial ambitions of her own. And we shall rise. Oh, we gain claims on a bunch of smaller islands now. Also provinces. We will need powerful friends. Railways are the key to our future. And railway building throughput. This will increase my infrastructure rating and my transportation there quite a bit. I think we can now specialize, of course, right? Do we want to become an empire that claims? Where is this? This looks, or this sounds a bit Korean. It might. Yeah, it is Korea. So we do actually have claims on the Korean peninsula then, right? We could also need powerful friends. With that we can, improve our relationships, and railways are the key. With that, also not very tempting. Let's actually get the claims for the Empire of Japan. So with that, we do have now a casus belli against Korea, right? So we could get this. How strong is Korea, by the way? Yeah, it's not that strong. It's only 51 battalions they have, and we are looking already at 46, and we just started, right? So I would need to train a few more troops now. We could afford this, by the way, so that might be an option. All right, that was huge. We still have the Terracoya system to follow now. This is the education investment, and then the path to liberalism and from farms to factories. So peasants are less than 35% of the total population of Japan in total. On the next law, we probably should move on with the voting, distribution of power to wealth voting. This is the most likely now than it's ever been. It will be endorsed by 3 political interest groups, which is giving me, 2 new bonuses, and also is on the way then to the suffrage. So let's go ahead and start the enactment process of this. Probably going to take a while. And protesters inspired by the fierce rhetoric of Uryu have carried out a march in Edo, calling for military intervention against the communist regime in French Commune. No. Yeah, something more constructive. I don't want to be dragged in a war somewhere else because of some ideology, so we're not doing this. Oh yeah, joint stock companies. Another company we can go with that. And also 10% urbanization per urban center is required. This probably pushes quite a few urban centers to the next level right away. And we can establish now a new company. As we can see, the Empire of Japan Steel Company has already leveled up and is now at the maximum productivity, and we get the 5% state construction efficiency for this. Right, there was I think around 5 or 2 capacity even only. It's okay. It's a nice tiny boost. Infrastructure bonus with the forestry syndicate. I think infrastructure is not our problem though, right? In some provinces it might be, but overall it's not something I would need to follow. Birthright. We are growing really quickly right now with 230,000 per year. I don't think that we need to push this further. Radicals from standard of living, that is actually something good. Army offensive, that's also good. And that would even be productive for us. The Metalworks Corporation of Empire of Japan will probably be my go-to here. Minting is not that great. Steel mills, building throughput, we have other ways of doing this. 10% bureaucracy is something I would like. Right, but for that we would need to make the paper mills even more productive than they are right now. We do get another license though, and we might use it then on the Tohoku paper. I like this one for now. Let's establish the Corporation of Empire Japan here, the metalworks. Gives me the productivity bonus and the army offensive bonus then that we are going to need at some point anyway. Newspapers sympathetic to the interests of the petite bourgeoisie have printed numerous stories about the revolutionary desires of communists in Japan. The articles paint lurid pictures of strikes and planned terrorism. We must get the situation under control. We get military police force support. And I think we're going out with this. We can't let communism spread through Japan. That would be scary, right? We get the Red Scare here, by the way. So, no civil war, please. And farms, that's that. Yeah, we don't really have that many other missions right now. That's great stuff. So we can focus on economy. We're building the Tohoku and Kanto railways right now. And I think we have now the explosives factory operational, but we need more people there. So in order to push this, we need more education, respectively more universities, right? Because this gives me more qualifications. Let's get us a level 4 in Hiroshima. And probably also another university education in Shikoku, and definitely then also in Tohoku, where we do need for the steel factories more qualified workers. And in Kanto also, because it's capital and Kanto should be the forefront of education there. Also, we do need lots of focus here as well. And then I would also like to increase my taxation capacity. So in Kansai, we are losing 46% of taxes right now, but that's only 10,000, right? I mean, that sounds like a lot. It's not really. So we're going to improve in Kansai, let's make it to 3 plus, right? That gives me some taxation capacity in addition. I wouldn't know how much that costs me in addition now. 3 more levels. And then in Chubu, that's here, I should also increase my government administration a bit. That's actually leading to 2 very cool things for us. First of all, taxation capacity gets increased. Of course, Kyushu, we should also be doing it, by the way. And second of all, this brings me more bureaucracy, and with that we should have done enough to actually push level 3 education. Rumors about the atrocities of communists in the French commune have reached Japan. Corpses filling the front pages of the newspapers, and who knew that people could be so barbaric? We deteriorate our relationship with the French commune. Where is it? Well, actually it's France. Who would have thought that? France is communist. Only now do I realize this. A bit late. But okay. We have a negative 25 right now. We're still conciliatory, so it should be fine. We could also say they also published something else for once. Now, let's reduce that. I don't need the petite bourgeoisie to like us any less. So not going ahead with this. Increasing the government administration right now. And with that, there it is. Education investment level 3 is available for us. This is going to be huge as well. 30% education access and 37% assimilation with this level. And that also finishes then the mission that we had from the beginning, the Terracoya system. Now that's a big surprise to me. The revolutionary movement of preserved land and voting has started. Oh, nice. Construction sector building throughput. Reinforced concrete has been finished. Are the landowners? There are only 14% cloud with 40,000 people behind them backing that. That's incredible. They really want it back. Their old voting system. Sorry, no, fellas. This is, of course, not going to be successful, as also my main army is now in Edo, so it's going to hurt me a bit there, probably, but that's about it. Steel frame buildings would be possible now. Unfortunately, we don't have a big steel industry up yet, so that's something I'm probably going to wait for a little while longer, while we look for other things, like, for example, taxation capacity with identification documents. This is pretty big, because it gives me a lot of taxation capacity for free, basically. Labor movement that we have there is getting passively researched. Yeah, the pragmatism might also be something. And then we have more here. The dynamite especially, right? So we improve that. We could also use fertilizers for the wheel, from the farms, further boosting my agricultural output. Steam Donkey is probably one of my go-tos as well. Let's actually queue it up, because we have an engine surplus and I could use this. Shift Works is coming up soon automatically. And Vulcanization, nah, I think that's fine for the moment. Where is the discovery of oil, or do we already have that? There's electricity. That's going to be major. But other than that... I might actually... Yeah, I might actually go for the open health process there as well. As the third tier now. Because of the revolution, the law stalled here with the wealth voting. So we're probably going to... cancel this one for the time being, right? It's not any good. And it also ends the revolution there. But it would stall for a very long time now, and I really don't want to have any division there again for years to come. So this makes a quick end to it, which is fine for me. We can focus on construction. So we have 180 construction capacity now. And even with that, we are almost positive. So that is fine to me. Urban centers. Do we still tax services? Yes, we are. And that's a huge bonus here, right? Tax services are incredible once the urban centers start to grow. What is actually pretty negative right now? There it is. Education investment is at level 3 now. Hooray. Another major thing. And we still have bureaucracy left over. 200 almost. And with that also the Terracoya system was successful. And we have finished this one as well. Protest against weapon manufacturing. Interest group approval from the petite bourgeoisie. We would lose the bonus. Which is what again? 10% bureaucracy. Oof. 100% building small output in Kanto for 5 years is significant. Let's go ahead. Hold production for now. I don't need the weapons anyway. Yeah, that was pretty cool. So we have finished the Terracoya system as well. With that, we have finished now all the major missions that we started with, and kind of like are in this Empire of Japan now with also a literacy rating of almost 70%. And we continue to grow forward. Now, as my next law, I could take a risk, right? And that is the legal guardianship, the rights of women. So right now, women are legally under the guardianship of men and enjoy very few rights. This gives me a higher birth rate, alright. We could counter this actually with the company, if we lose that. Propertied women is the next one in line here. This gives me more workforce ratio, which we actually do need in some areas. And it also, whether inherited or otherwise earned, even women have the right and duty to own and cherish their possessions. So this is actually something forward there. It's on our way to the women's suffrage here to the modernized Japan. In this case, it's risky, right? 20% endorse it, so we do actually get a nice endorsement from the intelligentsia, the trade unions as well, and the armed forces. Strangely enough, the armed forces, really. Also, we get the opposition of the landowners once more. The Shinto monks will absolutely not like it, but they're marginalized, so we really don't care about them at this point. The landowners is a problem though, right? Because we would actually get to -9 with them. This leads to agricultural tax income reduction. It's not that bad. It's a risk. It's perhaps too early. Let's try it out. Why not? Let's have some fun there. Well, we continue now with the lead mines. That's something I wanted to go, and then some more tooling workshops because we need to counter the imbalance that we have with tools. We have a positive balance despite using 182 capacity now. I love this. And then we need to work on steel. We still have the major problem here right now that I don't have enough trained workforce yet, right? So especially mechanist engineers, it's rather low in this area. So universities help, of course. Social mobility would also help. We already use it though into Hoku. Something I probably will not be able to push that hard anytime soon, unfortunately. Census of suffrage. Yep, this would be also pretty important. Distribution of power. That's down here. It's out of our reach for now, right? So that's... landowners. We would need to marginalize them. We would need to suppress them further. Anyway, so far so good. We have achieved all the major milestones that I wanted to go for this playthrough here. We probably continue onwards. I can't promise you that at this point though. As, yeah, moving forward, we would just be building up the economy and defeat the communist threat, which is rather easy passively. And then probably also have a look at Korea. If you enjoy this playthrough that much, we will continue onwards here. Other than that, lovely game. Beautiful theme that you can follow along for every nation. That's pretty cool. And yeah, onwards to new adventures. Stay tuned.